Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hannegriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hannegriff.
Yo, and welcome into Hangin with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda, here with Hunt Palmer. Hunt, this actually feels somewhat familiar. It's been a while.
You hit that yo just now, and I almost jumped right back into it. It felt like there was a muscle memory reaction there. But
I thought about telling you to do it before, but you know what? I was like, temper your excitement. You're over here in this chair. You have to just get a quick yo out. So I did.
Good job.
Did a quick
well done. You got to be yourself, you know.
We got Cade and Paul in the ones and twos across the room. We've got a great show planned for you today. We're going to talk Saints with Ken Trahan at 1:15. Justin Vincent's going to come sit in for a couple of segments with us to talk LSU football. Barrett Sallee of CBS Sports and SiriusXM Radio joins us at 2 o'clock to put a bow on college football season. We've got some LSU hoops to talk about. We'll get to that here in a second, but we did hear from the LSU offensive coordinator and the passing game coordinator yesterday. So, Hunt, I know you didn't have a great chance to dive into this because, you do have a day job. But, so, everybody's always about winning the press conference and being impressed. And I know that's once it becomes third and 8, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But still, if you don't do it, it is worrisome. So it was good to hear from these guys. We know DJ Mangas, Jake Peetz. This is the first time that we've been able to hear from him, hear the excitement in his voice, hear his plan for this LSU offense, and it was good to kind of figure out exactly who he is because it's not someone we know.
Right. The biggest thing for me, I don't care that much what he says in the press conference because that's easy. You can script it, you can rehearse it, you can use buzz phrases like, hey, we're going to be aggressive and we're going to attack matchups and we're going to get our best players in space, and you can say all that and that sounds great and whatever. But I just like the brain trust they've put together in terms of putting the offensive staff together and specifically the passing game. And I like it because it's got a mix of young and old. It's got a mix of guys that have been here and guys that haven't. It's got a mix of guys who have been with Joe Brady here or there, and that's a common thread that they all have. And so I think that they'll all speak the same language in the room. I think that at times, especially on the defensive side of the ball this past year, wires got crossed.
Right.
There's just not any denying that. It's just, and then you see the results of that with people being let go and things not moving forward as they were.
The perfect emoji, I said it yesterday, was the one with its hands out.
Yeah.
Because that's what all the defenders were doing.
And it just, you got to be on the same page. And the story that I've told a million times that I won't go back and tell about the Texas 3rd and 17 in 2019, that kind of communication flow, trust, and being on the same page is so important. It's hard to get. But these guys all have common threads, from DJ Mangas being here with Insminger and with Brady, and then with James Craig, and then with Peetz being with Mangas and with Brady, with Insminger being with Brady and Mangas. And they've all just been around the same people and spoke the same language for the last few years. And I just think that's really important.
Something that we didn't really point out yesterday because we were looking at it more from a Jake Peetz angle than a DJ Mangas because we do know DJ. DJ was here, as everyone knows. And we were talking about, Joe Brady. I'm sure they've had conversations about Miles Brennan with Jake Peetz. He's called, hey, give me the book. Well, hell, DJ knows him pretty well, too. I mean, he was coaching him in 2019. So when you're coming into a quarterback competition, I think it is important that you've got your guy coming in as passing game coordinator who knows Miles Brennan. He has coached Miles Brennan. Now, Jake Peetz is going to get the book from Joe Brady and from DJ, so they're familiar with him. But good or bad, I do think it's important that DJ does know exactly who's going, to be leading the charge from the get-go. It's going to be a competition. I don't think there's any question about that. If Miles is healthy, I would assume he's going to get the first crack at it, but it's going to be a healthy competition, and at least DJ Mangas does know who Miles Brennan is.
And I was asked yesterday up in Shreveport about the quarterback job moving into the fall, and I said this. The question was, will they name a starter? And I said, I don't think they will. I think it was important to Ed Ogeron when Joe Burrow walked out the door and he had two freshmen and Miles Brennan to come out publicly and say, Miles Brennan is the quarterback of this team. That lets the team know this is your guy. that lets Miles know when we get on the practice field, when we get into workouts, when we start doing things, you have to take over the field. You have to be that dude. It was important for everyone to be on the same page. This is how it's going to be. I don't feel that way now about the next year.
Right.
I think Miles has a great chance to be the quarterback, and I think he played awesome in his opportunity last year before he got hurt. And I think Max played great, and I think TJ did some good things. I personally believe that Max Johnson and Miles Brennan are the two horses and that TJ Finley's behind them. That's my personal belief at this point. But I don't believe anybody's won the competition, and I think they got to go win it in the fall, in the spring, in the summer, and in the fall. It wouldn't shock me at all. Hopefully we're playing in the Rose Bowl, but it wouldn't shock me at all if we went out and whoever broke the huddle, we were like, all right, that's the starter. Yeah. Now, it's been more transparent than that about just about everything, including who he's interviewing. So it's like it's amazing. But I think that I think that there's a chance that they don't announce one until they take the first snap.
And it's okay. It's okay to have a very healthy quarterback competition. Now, my own experience is going to be different because college football is different. Like when we had Jamarcus Flynn and Perilou, a lot of people just assume, oh, it's Jamarcus's team. I'm telling y'all, they allowed them to compete. And there was times when Matt would come in with the first team and he would get some reps. And at the end of the day, Jamarcus won the battle. Now, it might not have been as public as it is now because now with the way the transfer portal is with quarterbacks, everyone's going to kind of want an update every single day. Who won the day? Who's ahead of the other guy? So now you're going to have a competition. Who knows how that competition plays out? Who knows what your quarterback numbers look like? But you've got 4 guys. And Nussmeier's a young guy, right? He's going to be learning. He's here already, so that is a plus for him. You've got 4 guys. Probably not going to start the season with 4 guys. I think we all know that. That's just not the way college football works nowadays. But still, I hope they have that competition. I'd love for somebody to win it in the spring and be the guy. I mean, that means that person was that much better than everyone else. But I think this is a deal that's going to go into fall camp, and we'll have an idea, but we might not know. You're exactly right until that first game.
Who's going to win the job? As we sit here in the middle of January.
So I'll be transparent here. I had a conversation with Norv Turner yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I asked Norv about Jake Peetz. They spent time together.
You can pick that name up and just leave it there.
No, I talked about it on the show yesterday.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you didn't. You obviously didn't listen. So I
got a job to do. All right.
So I didn't know. I didn't even put it together that Norv and him were together. Norv was the OC at Carolina when Jake Peetz was there with him, and so I'm like, what am I doing? I text Norv during the show. He called me, of course, because that's what older people do. They call you when you text them. I was like, Coach, you can't talk right now. I'm doing a radio show. But I called him after the show, and I was like, hey, just give me the book. Give me the book out. And the first thing out of his mouth was he loves the RPOs. That was the first thing that Norv said. Said he's a grinder, all those things, and gave him an endorsement. But the first thing said he loves the RPOs. So to me, which quarterback does that tell you?
That would be Max.
Okay, so maybe you don't read in too much of one comment, but that was the first thing that came to his mind when he thought about Jake Peetz. And so, the way Max finished last year, he's going to have every opportunity. Miles, the way he did it, the way he stayed, the way he didn't take his ball and go home, he deserves an opportunity to be in that. TJ played really well against South Carolina. He deserves to be it. All these guys have had moments. Now, some have had more. All are pretty limited, but some have had more than others, and that's what makes this quarterback competition great. It's not potential. It's not like when you had Ryan Perilou, who was the number 1 quarterback in Louisiana, and you knew the potential, but he hadn't really shown it on the field yet. Like, no, kind of what these guys are to some extent because they've been out there on the field. I would assume Max has a leg up. That's just me. We don't know where Miles Brennan is injury-wise. We don't know.
We don't.
We don't know if he's going to have surgery, if he's not going to have surgery, if he'll ever be the same again. If he's 100%, that's a different conversation, but we don't know that. So I think it is fair to say right now Max is the leader. As we sit here in January.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Miles can throw a football. So it's one of those injuries where usually you have the injury and they say, all right, he's going to – I mean, Alabama had a player, Bruner, got hurt last night on the basketball court. He had surgery today. Like, usually that's what happens, and we get a timetable, and then you just assess it. This has dragged and dragged and dragged, and you're just kind of hoping and waiting and letting the doctors do what they do. But clearly this is different than your average injury. So you hope that his career doesn't get taken away because of something that happened in an injury. But
right
at this point, yeah, I would have to say it's Max probably is in the lead, but things have a long way to go.
And we talked offensive line and receivers and all that yesterday. One of the points I made was I'd love to see the running backs kind of get back involved in the game plan like Clyde was in 2019. I'm not saying you have to have that one person on the field. Clyde was on the field over 90% of the time. Yeah. That doesn't happen at LSU, and I'm fine with that. It can be multiple guys, but use them in the ways that you used Clyde. And no disrespect to a guy like Chris Curry, but when Chris Curry was lined up out wide, I wasn't real threatened by that if I'm a defense, okay? I think John Emery can do some of that. Ty Davis-Price can do some of that. Can't do as much as John Emery, and John Emery might not be able to do as much as Bradford. But use your backs like you did in 2019 because you didn't really know whenever Clyde lined up, you didn't say, well, he's coming back in. When Chris Curry did, you knew. He's either going to run a hitch or he's going to come back in the backfield. And really the same for all the guys for the most part. With Clyde, we saw in the Alabama game. I mean, he ran a corner route. He can run a go route. He can run a 10-yard comeback. He could do everything.
A rub route with Jamar for a touchdown against
Florida to seal the game. But those are the things for me that were so dynamic in 2019. And when you did bring him back into the backfield, it wasn't just outside zone. You ran ISO. You ran power. You ran that outside zone. You had multiple runs up, and they did a nice job with Thaddeus Moss being able to block said runs from a flex position as well. So for me, that's something I want to see come back is the evolution of the running back position.
And I'm not telling you anybody in that room is a first-round pick like Clyde ended up being, and the productivity may not be there that Clyde gave you, but the talent, there is talent in that room, so there's no reason why you can't plug those guys into the game plan.
All right, we will take our first break of the afternoon. When we come back, we're going to talk a little LSU hoops. Hunt does a daily podcast, if you don't know. Have you uploaded it? Yesterday when Cody Worsham sat there, he did his Boot Up podcast, but forgot to upload said podcast.
So today was a bit of a crazy.
So no,
I did it, but it was usually by 9:00, and today it was at like 11:30. So I apologized in the podcast for having the podcast so late. We've had some things going on in the Palmer house, so the podcast took a bit of a backseat. We'll talk about it next.
All right, we'll be back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Tonda.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
It's the divisional round in the NFL playoffs. Our coverage starts Saturday at 3:35 when the Packers host the Rams, followed by Bills-Ravens at 7:15. Then Sunday, the Chiefs host the Browns at 2:05, followed by the Saints-Buccaneers at 5:40. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
From Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $335 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, previewing Saints Bucs with Mike Detillier, and we'll recap LSU Arkansas and hoops. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Hey, welcome back in. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Ton. Of course, Hanny out for the next couple of weeks. So Hunt Palmer will be with us for the next couple of weeks.
That's right. Hang in there, Hanny. Thinking about you.
I actually talked to Hanny this morning. He feels like a new man.
Excellent.
I mean, he might be doing cartwheels and doing gymnastics.
You know, I don't wager at all on sports, but I would wager against Hanny doing a cartwheel in the near future. If that option was presented to me, I would take the negative.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But he is feeling better. We did get an update. Surgery went well, so hopefully Hanny will be back here in the near future. All right, let's talk some LSU hoops. Last night, big victory, 92-76 over the Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas came in a 10-2 basketball team. It was going to be a challenge. We talked about it with Cody Worsham yesterday. This team was a high-scoring team, well over 80 points for Arkansas. They did a nice job rebounding, 6th in the country in rebounding, so that was going to be a challenge, of course, for LSU. But LSU took all doubt out of this game in the first half, 51-31 at halftime. And I told you before we came on.
That was after a 12-0 Arkansas run. It was 51-21 eventually.
What was the run for LSU? Was it 40-6 at one point?
I had 44-4 on my podcast this morning.
Oof. I haven't seen many times like that. I mean, everything LSU threw at the basket went in.
Maybe 34-4.
Defensively, I think 34-4. Yeah. Defensively, everything they did was working. Arkansas could not buy a bucket, and you could tell how excited Will Wade was by the defensive effort. Even if they were picking up a foul, but they were giving effort on the defensive end, he was still going out there, dapping up his guys after the timeout, after the foul, and you could tell he appreciated the effort. And I told you before we came on, you look at the starting five, every one of those guys in double figures, the highest being 23 points. I know it's difficult to replicate that every single game, but that's the best version of LSU basketball. You don't have to have a 30-point score. If you get it and you win the game, great. You're not going to complain about it. But this, to me, is the exact version that you want if you're Will Wade.
There's plenty of good to talk about. You can talk about the offense in the first half, the defense in the first half, the balanced scoring you talked about, holding the lead, any number of good things that happened last night. But the first thing that I point to, I mentioned this on the podcast, and I'm going to regurgitate a lot of those things here, but when LSU played Georgia in the PMAC last week, it disappointed me as a fan in the building that Georgia brought all the energy. And sometimes you get your butt kicked and the other team's got more energy, and it's hard to have a lot of energy when you're down 22 points and everything they shoot's going in. That wasn't the case against Georgia. LSU was winning the game the most of the first half. and Georgia brought way more energy. Their bench was fired up. Their players were fired up. Their coaches were yelling. They were up off their feet, and LSU was just sitting there. And LSU's better, so they were up, and then they got down by 10, but then they erased it and ended up winning in overtime. But the energy level was not any good. They went to Oxford and picked it up big time on the bench, which led onto the court, bled into the coaching staff, and was fired up. And they found something in Oxford with that energy level. And you can't replicate it every game for 15 straight games in SEC play. But I thought there was a good chance they could bring it for a second night in a row on their home floor against a good Arkansas team, and they did. So the first thing that I want to point to positively was the energy level was through the roof. And that's not just the guys on the floor. I'm talking about the bench, the coaches. That was the best thing I saw all night last night.
I agree with you, and I did notice that from the Georgia game. Actually, I think we talked about that during one of the breaks last week, and you could tell it was a point of emphasis for the assistants to be involved in the cheering and getting their guys ready to go. If the guy was on the bench, he was getting his guys on the floor to give that effort, and it's something they noticed as well. There's no question about that. Inside the Bayou 4 chat, Mwani looked good. Cam forced too many threes.
Got two points for Mwani, which this was great. One of the things that I wanted to see in this game is if Connor Vanover for Arkansas played. 7'3", starts a lot for them, but in the Georgia game, we know how fast Georgia plays. He played 3 minutes. They sat him on the bench. And I didn't know, based on what Colin Castleton did for Florida against LSU, if they would try to replicate that with Vanover. But the question would be, who would he guard on LSU's when LSU had the ball? Because if you guard Days, he's going to be out the three-point line. They're going to try to get you in pick-and-roll situations, make you move. So Musselman made a pretty calculated play. And he said, okay, I'm going to put him on Mwani Wilkinson because he doesn't do anything on offense. All the other guys play. I'll just put him on Wilkinson, and he'll just stand there. So Vanover was just standing in the lane. So they kick it out, and Mwani hits a three. And then another time down the floor, Watford was going one-on-one just outside the block, and Vanover was just standing under the goal when Mwani was on the other side. And Watford put up a shot and missed it, but Mwani crashed the glass, got the rebound, and then forced a foul on Vanover and made the 2 free throws. That's 5 points on that philosophy. Vanover played 8 minutes in the first half. They sat him. That's it. We can't play him. And we haven't asked Mwani to do anything on offense. But in this instance, he needed to fill a role, and he does it. He's a role player. He's the best role player on this team in terms of doing things that don't get any highlights, and they needed him to do some things that changed the way Arkansas approached the game last night, and he did it.
It's very hard in this day and age of basketball to find someone like him. Does he want to score? He probably does, but it's not what drives him. What drives him is being out there on the floor, creating turnovers, creating havoc, and being a guy, like you said, that's a role player on this basketball team, because you've got guys that are going to put up shots. We know Javonte. We know Cam. We know Wofford. Those guys are going to put up shots. Even Darius Days put up double-figure shots last night, and he'll have a tendency to do that as well. So you don't need a whole lot from him, but he knows his role. He's okay with his role, and he can adjust his role like he did last night. He is so key to this. I've said for the last couple of weeks, Darius Days is the most important player on this team. He's becoming kind of in that same category for me.
Another guy I want to talk about that I saw something that really caught my eye last night, because we can talk about Watford, dominating off the drive and Javonte making some shots, all that stuff, but some of the stuff that really caught my eye that's a little out of the ordinary. If you'll remember, and I'll pull it up right here, LSU was up 28-9 with about 10.5 minutes to go, and Cam knocks a ball free, and Gaines picks it up just on the other side of half court and starts moving towards the break. And if you'll remember, it's when he got caught right in the lane and whipped that left-handed pass right behind his head to LeBlanc for a dunk. And what'll catch the headline of that will be, the no-look left-handed whip pass to LeBlanc. But what I noticed when I went back and looked at it, when Gaines got the ball, it was 2-on-4.
Right.
So you don't have numbers, and you don't really need to push it. And in November, when he's a freshman, he hadn't played much, he might pull it back out. And you know what? That's fine with me. We got a steal. We'll take the ball. We're probably going to score anyway.
Yeah.
But he had the confidence to say, I'm going to push this and attack a little bit, and then made a really nice play. He's getting more confident and more comfortable kind of handling the ball and doing some things. And we know that Will Wade loves him, and he's real active on defense. But that, to me, was a developmental play where he looked at it and went, that might not be something he did in his second game as a Tiger, but he did it last night.
I didn't know he had that. And you know what I'm talking about. I didn't know he could finish at the rim like he did.
Yeah, that's on his high school tape.
I mean, that surprised me a little bit. I mean, he went up there with confidence, and then he had a little bit of swagger after he did it. And he's another guy. You get him involved. And at the beginning of the season, it seemed like that was going to be Jalen Cook's role in this team, and it's no longer. It's flipped, and not to say it can't flip back. We know how college basketball is, but that role is definitely flipped, and he's getting that run.
So that you're talking about going after the rim, he's throwing out a dunk in transition, and so, but I saw his high school tape, and he's like dunking on people in high school. Now that's high school, and I said in my preseason podcast, Gaines, it wouldn't surprise me at all because he weighs 120 pounds, like he just weighs nothing, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he got there and he needed a year to develop, and he wasn't a big piece to this deep backcourt and this deep basketball team. It also wouldn't surprise me if he emerged as a really key role player because he has no idea he weighs 140 pounds soaking weight. He thinks he's the baddest dude on the court. And that's what you see with that no-look, left-handed pass. You saw on the alley, the fast break with him and Mwani against Ole Miss. He zipped that underhand pass and then threw it back for the lob. He's got a little bit of arrogance and swagger to him. He's not the biggest dude on the floor, but he thinks he's one of the baddest.
You know who had that on the football field was Trenton Holiday. And that stuff plays. Like, I can't tell you how much that confidence, and I don't care how small I am, I'm better than you, you're not going to touch me. I mean, that stuff goes a long way in sports. And if you've got that and it's not fake, because I've seen a lot of guys where it's fake, right? They puff their chest out, but they don't have it. It seems like he has it.
Who was the guy that you were in the NFL at the time. Who did LSU put Rashard Robinson on 101? Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Mike Evans. It was his Mike Evans' junior year.
Right.
Or his redshirt sophomore year, I guess it was, because he redshirted under Sherman.
Yeah.
But it was when they played in Baton Rouge. And they said, Rashard Robinson weighed nothing. They said, you got to go guard Evans. Like, we're out of dudes.
Right.
We got Jalen Mills over here. He's banged out. Like, you got it. And he stepped up and said, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the SEC as a whole in college basketball. LSU's got South Carolina coming up inside the PMAC. Of course, they've got Alabama, who is 5-0 right now in conference play as well, coming up after the Gamecocks. We'll talk about all that and more when we come back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Happy New Year from Cordell Toyota in Opelousas. You can get into a Corolla for $239 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Join us for a Thursday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. LSU basketball gets a win last night, and we continue to break down Saints Bucs in the Superdome on Sunday. Come out and see us or tune in at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Honda here with Hunt Palmer on a Thursday afternoon. Hey, Hunt, Theo Epstein will join the commissioner's office as a consultant regarding on-field matters. Major League Baseball will announce that today. There's your little bit of former Cubs.
Yeah, we put a mole in the commissioner's office now. He's on our squad.
No, he's not.
Yes.
All right, because nobody cares about. Well, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people care about the Cubs, but not in
people.
Not in January here in Baton Rouge.
Some of us degenerates. It's supposed to be the Cubs convention this weekend.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
Sorry.
Got golf to watch.
Primetime golf? Is that the thing that you always talk about? Okay, yeah. You and Ronnie Rance.
Sony from Wildlife tonight. I got Webb Simpson this week.
You and Ronnie Rance will be the only two people watching that.
Gotta
but enjoy
somebody
it.
else.
But enjoy it. All right, we're going to talk some SEC hoops here. South Carolina coming up for the Tigers. And obviously everyone's scattered right now as far as how many games they've played. Alabama's played 5 conference games. As LSU, they've 4-1, Alabama 5-0. South Carolina's only played 1 conference game. You've got Tennessee and Kentucky and some others that have played 4. So it's a little bit scattered. South Carolina, we don't really know a whole lot about them. They've played 5 games. They've won the only conference game they've played to this point. Where do you have South Carolina? I mean, it's so hard to tell where they're. It's even hard to tell Alabama at 5-0, and maybe because we didn't expect it, it's even hard to tell where they're at right now. I think a lot of Nate Oates, and they might be a really good basketball team.
They are,
but I think we're still learning.
I've seen enough of them 4 or 5 times. They're good. I mean, to beat Tennessee and Kentucky the way they have is impressive.
Yeah.
Any way you slice it, and I know that Kentucky, their body of work is not any good, because they're awful out of the conference, and then they've stepped into conference, and their conference wins, 2 of them are not impressive. They beat Vanderbilt by 3, and Vanderbilt had a 3 in the air to tie it that hit the rim 13 times and didn't go in, and they beat Mississippi State in double overtime. And Mississippi State is what they are. But Alabama just totally outclassed them. I mean, it was a total annihilation to beat those guys that bad. It was impressive, and then and then they beat Florida too. So it's a good team.
Florida doesn't know who they are exactly right now. Now they came back against Ole Miss. They were able to go big and outman Ole Miss, but that was a game that they just didn't look like the team like they looked against LSU, and that was a game that they very easily could have lost. But, I mean, Kentucky being kind of where they're at right now and Florida being where they're at, it is kind of difficult to figure out who's who right now. Even A&M beating Mississippi State. I thought a lot of Mississippi State, and then A&M was able to come back on them last night.
So you mentioned South Carolina first, and that's next up, and we'll get to that. But from a talent perspective, as you might expect, they're down the rung. However, they have A.J. Lawson, who scored 30 on Texas A&M, and he scored 25 against Florida A&M, so he's good against the A&Ms, obviously. But he's their guy. You slow him down, they don't have much else. Now, they can defend, and they're going to be tough, and they're going to be physical, and they'll probably foul you a lot. But he's the only real elite type player that they have. So they're not great. But I think LSU, what LSU did last night was really put a skin on the wall. I'm not going to give you a ton of credit for A&M. I'm not going to give you a ton of credit for Ole Miss. I'm not going to give you a ton of credit for an 0-4 Georgia team. And then, of course, you lost to St. Louis. So you look pretty good, and you're winning far more than you lose, and 9-2 looks nice, and 4-1 looks nice. But who have you beaten? And the answer is that Arkansas is decent.
Yeah.
And you put it on them so bad for 10 minutes that they couldn't recover.
Right.
That's impressive. And so what I've said about this week as opposed to next week, this week for LSU is about positioning. You had a chance to beat Arkansas and then play a not-so-great South Carolina team and position yourself at 5-1. Next week is about proving yourself. You play Alabama, who's really good, and you go to Rupp and win, okay, now we can really talk.
Right.
This week, if you'd have lost to Arkansas and scraped by and either lost or just beat South Carolina, you've positioned yourself not so great. Then you go lose a couple next week, and you're all of a sudden now you're 500. Positioning this week, prove yourself next week, and so it starts on Saturday when they play South Carolina to put themselves at 5-1. And at 5-1, you can look around as a fan. I mean, like the team, obviously, you can't one game at a time, but if you're a fan, you can look around and go, we can win this league. You're 5-1.
On the broadcast last night, I believe it was Seth Davis that said it. He said there's no first class or business class teams in the SEC, but a bunch of coach teams. Now, do you believe that in that metaphor that he used?
No, I don't. I think Tennessee is very good. I think Alabama is very good, and I think LSU's got a potential to be that.
Yeah, Seth Davis not the biggest LSU fan.
Well,
let's call it like
but
it
is.
He's a little biased there.
But look, Tennessee will smother people on defense. When LSU and Tennessee play, that is going to be that's a clash of styles if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But Alabama, I can't wait to talk about them next week because
I've never heard you say that.
Well, look,
I've heard you say something.
I gave them first class. I gave them first class on Tuesday.
Oh, you did? Yeah, you
just
did.
to give a shot at the football team. Yeah. But I did anyway. But they're fascinating to watch. They really are.
Hey, Kay, do you remember what it was that Hunt said about Alabama and the city where they reside in?
He can probably find that.
Okay.
Well,
I like Tuscaloosa.
You get it that fast.
Oh, God.
It's fun. Got some good barbecue and decent barbecue. They got a fun strip. It's right by campus. I like it. Especially when we go there and kick their tail like we did.
You like Gainesville, too, while you're at
Gainesville's awful.
Oh, my gosh.
I can be objective about towns in the SEC. It doesn't mean I like their football program or their short head football coach.
It's not even in the upper tier of towns in the SEC.
Starkville?
Yeah, it is. Starkville's awful.
Terrible. Vegas. Hey, Restaurant Tyler's really good. Ribs, if you're listening, I'm shouting out.
Their restaurants are so good in Starkville that Dan Mullen refused to take any recruits there on prospective visits and had them all come to his house. That's how good the restaurants are in Starkville.
Maybe he had a big house. Maybe he had a good chef. I don't know that.
I like Tuscaloosa.
Ooh, okay. I don't even want to hear that ever again. All right, inside the Bayou Ford chat from Bernard. Hunt, who has the best backcourt in the SEC?
Oh, man. The best backcourt in the SEC. I mean, I'm assuming you can put them all together. I would take Javonte and Cam. I think that right now is the best. Look, Shackelford is great at Alabama, and you can put him with John Petty, and they've been fantastic. And they've got to get their freshmen back, and it may happen on Saturday or against LSU on Tuesday. But
Javonte can create for a point guard. Obviously, sometimes he gets himself into some trouble. I realize that maybe trying to do too much. But as a point guard that can create his own shot, that can score in bunches, I mean, as far as point guards, I mean, I put him towards the top of guys that can do that. Now, overall point guard, maybe not. But as far as scores, he's one of the top ones. I don't think there's any denying that.
No, there's no doubt. And he's been great. I think He looked a little bit more on, what was that, Saturday night, he looked a little bit more like Tremont. I always get complaints on the podcast and on Twitter about how we need a true point guard. And what you're saying is we need Tremont back.
Right.
And he kind of looked a little bit like Tremont on Saturday. He had that little one in transition where he dribbled through a couple of guys and then shot that reverse layup. He made a couple of deep threes. It looked a little bit like that. Yeah. Tremont Waters is the best point guard we've had since the 80s. Since Ethan Martin. Like, that's just a fact. We've had some good basketball teams, not every year, but every once in a while we have a really good team. They haven't had a true point guard. Daryl Mitchell and Bo Spencer, they're not going to...
Our big-time draft guys have all been big. Stroh Swift, Big
and
Baby,
Marcus
Tyrese
Thornton.
Thomas. Yeah, they've all been big.
So you don't get Tremont all the time.
Right.
But he was great. And look, Javonte's playing fantastic basketball right now.
People are really heating up inside the Bayou Fort chat about your T-Town take. Some people actually agreeing with you, though, so I do have to
I've
give
enjoyed
you
my
that.
time there. And look, we've been there. I went there in 2006. We won. I went there in 2008, 2010. We lost. No, 2006. No, 2007. 2007 we won. 2009 we lost. 2011 we won. And then I haven't been back since. Oh, well, I went in 2013. We lost. But I've won a couple times there. It's fun.
I sat behind the most giddy grown men I've ever seen in my life. It was sickening. I mean, me and my brother-in-law sitting there. What year would that have been? I don't know. Let's 15. And Fournette had been so dominant that year.
Oh, I forgot I went to that game. I told my friends I did not want to go to that game. I told them I didn't want to go, and I still went.
See,
and it was
Derrick Henry
terrible.
ended up winning the Heisman, right?
Yes.
And
oh my God.
They were like giddy little schoolgirls about every time they stopped Fournette, they would like snicker and like high five each other. And they were in the LSU section. I don't know how that ended up happening. I've never wanted to fight another grown man over something so silly in my life. But I wanted to
think
fight
about
him.
this. This was my trip. That was when the last time I said I'll never go back until Saban's not only gone but no longer with us. I said I'm not going back. We got up on Saturday morning, drove to Tuscaloosa, went out on the strip during the day in the pouring rain, sat on the top row, got our tails whipped, sweaty and rained on, got back to our hotel in Meridian, Mississippi, and a massive sinkhole. I'm talking about
I remember that on the drive back. Yes.
Had gone through the parking lot, and there was no running water in our hotel.
Yep.
So 4 dudes, sweaty,
swamp ass,
just rained on, depressed, and hungover. Had to go to a hotel room where we couldn't brush our teeth with running water or take a shower. It was a great trip. I'm definitely excited to go back. Never.
I remember driving back from Tuscaloosa. I was still in Shreveport at the time, going to every game. Katie went to that game, so we drove instead of normally I would fly on CST, but we drove that game, saw the sinkhole. The way the game went, I wished I was in the sinkhole because I had to watch
We're talking about like
game.
multiple large trucks had gone into this thing.
It was
This
like
is
by
not
an IHOP or something.
Yeah, that was in the parking lot. A Waffle House, but yeah.
It was Waffle House?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That's a mistake you can never make as a Southerner and recover from.
It was not great. I forgot about that trip totally. I blacked it out.
Poison a tree?
Well, do you think I care?
No.
Okay, I really don't.
Okay.
Roll
Harvey!
outside.
You got to love Mr. Updike, His Eminence.
All right. On that, we will take a break. When we come back, Bill Bender of the Sporting News will join us to put a bow on college football season. All that more here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Tonda.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only, subject to credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Happy New Year from Cordell Toyota in Opelousas. You can get into a new Camry for $335 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Cordell Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Musso. Join us for Fridays Off the Bench. Hunt Palmer stops by in his weekly spot to talk LSU football and LSU basketball. We'll have the D-Generation Dome, a brand new OTB tier list, and more. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, back here on Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda. I have one of our weekly guys on now, Bill Bender of the Sporting News. Bill, how you doing this afternoon?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
How excited is the state of Ohio that the Cleveland Browns won a playoff game the first time since Moby Dick was a minnow?
That was I think they're a little bit shocked in how they did it. 28-0 lead that they get on Pittsburgh. They did everything you're supposed to do in a playoff game, and they grew up a little bit. And they're going to face a even bigger challenge this week against Patrick Mahomes' experience. And it's everything that was built there was kind of checked a little bit on Monday night, I suppose, with the Ohio State game.
The way that the Browns did it, and we'll get to college football, obviously, Bill, but the way the Browns did it, I think you're exactly right. That did surprise everybody, and it's like, oh, my gosh, they're up 35-7. I hope that's enough points to hold on because that franchise has been through so much. Even at 35-7 in the postseason, you still hoped it would be enough to hold on, and they did, to their credit. I'm sure Pittsburgh fans will remember that game for the wrong reasons for a very long time because of who they lost to, but it was a very unique game. They almost had to have it go that way for them to win.
They did, and it was Baker didn't make mistakes. Big Ben did.
Yeah.
It's not like Cleveland ran all over the place. They took advantage of Pittsburgh's mistakes, and especially in the first half. And even when that game got tight, and it did get tight there for a minute, Pittsburgh opts the punt, and Baker leads a touchdown drive immediately after. So I think they are a legitimate contender now. I'm not saying they're going to beat the Chiefs, because I don't think they will, but they belong in this discussion with the other 7 teams playing this weekend that all have aspirations to hold up a Super Bowl trophy, including my Green Bay Packers.
Did not know you're a Green Bay fan, man. That might have some conflict if we have a Saints Green Bay championship game.
No, there's no conflict. No, I'm kidding. No, it's a really interesting weekend in the NFC.
Yes.
I think Green Bay is going to have some issues with the Rams defense. I get that, especially with Aaron Donald and that defensive line. I'm really looking forward to the Brady Breeze battle. As I point out, I remember watching Purdue and Michigan in 1999 when Breeze and Brady played in their first head-to-head matchup. And who would have ever guessed that, it's 22 years later, guys, that they're playing in the Elite Eight in the NFL. It's just wild to me that those two have had that much success.
All right, let's go to college football. Ohio State obviously didn't get the job done against Alabama. Alabama was so dominant this entire year. One of the things, though, Bill, I was surprised watching the game was the game plan from Ohio State offensively. They played with more tight ends. They were under center a couple of times. I thought they would go wide open. They'd follow the same game plan that Ole Miss and Florida had success with, but they believed they could run the football. And even when Sermon went out, Master Teague had some nice runs, but you just weren't going to beat that Bama team playing that brand of football, so that's why it surprised me.
I agree. And, they had to match score for score. And Alabama's defensive line started to take over that game a little bit, maybe midway through the second quarter, with Barmore and a couple of the other guys on there. And Surtain takes out one of their receivers, and they have 2 really good ones, in Olave and Wilson. And then Justin Fields didn't have his best night. He needed to have his best night for them to have a chance. And then you look on the other side, and it's just putting linebackers on receivers. It's not happening. Not against Devontae Smith. Not against Jalen Waddle, even when he was hobbled. And Najee Harris converted a couple fourth downs early in that game. I mean, you guys are probably doing the debate down there right now. I mean, between LSU last year and Alabama this year, it was 2 of the greatest offenses in the history of the sport.
Bill Bender joining us here, hanging with Hester and Hanny. So, obviously, Ohio State, Clemson, and Alabama have kind of been the elite of the sport now for 5 or 6 years. I'm not asking for an LSU style 5-5, now 6-6 with a 12-game season drop off. But if you had to pick one of those teams to take a minor step back next year, who would you take and why?
Well, I mean, it's hard. I mean,
right.
Alabama loses so many playmakers, but you got to figure, right, Bryce Young's going to be pretty good. Najee, they lose Najee, they get Robinson, Billingsley, other young playmakers. I don't think Alabama really takes a step back ever. I just think they have found a way to reload, but it's going to be impossible to ask them to do that again. I think Clemson's going to be better, and I think Ohio State is going to depend on the quarterback and some defensive adjustments. But those will be our top 3 in all our rankings, and then you'll start to get into Oklahoma and Georgia and rather LSU and all those young guys they have. I think they're kind of an X-factor team in the rankings because I like them because of the young talent they have, but it has to be better organized than it was this year. I think that's an understatement.
Hey, Bill, I want to ask you about North Carolina. That's kind of the team. So we know that there's been teams that get preseason hype so many times. I mean, you could point to some SEC teams, A&M and Georgia. They get talked about more than anyone. Seems like North Carolina's going to kind of be in the same boat. Are you buying the Tar Heels?
Yeah, because I like Sam Howell. I think their defense will have to improve, and they've got to figure out how to do it every week. They lost a couple this year that they probably shouldn't have lost, Florida State, Virginia. They will be one of those it teams of the offseason, the party crashers, so to speak. And the other is going to be Iowa State because Matt Campbell stayed. They have everybody coming back and decided to come back. And when I see a school that has that happen, they're all in right now. Breece Hall, Purdy, Charlie Kohler, and their defense, Mike Rose. So I really like what Iowa State's building. It'll be interesting if they can give Oklahoma not only a run in the regular season, but for a Big 12 championship.
Brian Kelly got a little testy after the Alabama loss when he thought that reporters were hinting at the fact that his program was not even close to where Alabama was. And we know that getting blown out by Alabama, not exactly an indictment on your program this year. But how close do you think Notre Dame is to winning a national championship?
I think they need he's right. They need more firepower on the perimeter. Their offensive line has All-Americans now. The front seven was better. They gave Alabama, did Alabama score less than 31 against anybody? I don't think they did. So he's right in some ways, but because it's Notre Dame and the gold helmets and everything we know about the program, they're easy to label a fraud. Now, by the numbers, they're not a fraud at all. They probably are, by record, the last 3 years, the fourth best team in college football. But that fourth best team is such a moving target. Is it Oklahoma? Is it Notre Dame? Is it LSU, who finally, they're the only one that broke through? Georgia hasn't broke through. Georgia hasn't won a national title since 1980. That's crazy.
Bill, we always appreciate the time, and I love that you gave that 1980 stat because I give it all the time, and so somebody else gave it. It brought a little smile to my face here. Bill, we always appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, you guys are the best. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right, there he is, Bill Bender, the lead writer over at Sporting News. 1980, I was -5. I think you were -7. Cade, how old were you?
-8.
-8. Okay, chill out. You were how old, Cade? You were -3. Paul, you were negative what? He doesn't know. He's adding it up in his head. But the fact is, all of us were not born yet in this room last time Georgia won a national championship. It has been more than a hot minute. All right, we'll take a break. Coming up in hour number 2, Ken Trahan, Crescent City Sports, and Justin Vincent join us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Sonda.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hand Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Yo, and welcome into hour number 2 of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda. Again, quick update. Hanny will be out for the next couple of weeks, so Hunt Palmer will be my sidekick, like the old days. How many days a week did we do back in the day? 2?
2.
Tuesday. It was Tuesday and Thursday? Okay. It does feel a little different being on this side of the table. It's weird. I sat here for like over 2 years, but it does feel a little different. But it does feel right that you have a hat back on because you looked naked the other day.
Always going to wear a lid when I can. It makes my mother very upset. But you know what?
Christian
the hair's not
out.
very good. I'm just not that good looking guy, period. But if you put a hat on, you just kind of
Why does it make
something.
your mother upset?
She doesn't like when I wear a hat. She thinks that I should not wear a hat. She probably has an inflated opinion of how I look generally because she's my mom. But I just rather wear a hat. There's one less thing to worry about. I always tell people I'm ready to go bald, and I should just shave my head because I don't want to deal with my hair.
You're literally the only person I've ever heard
because I
say
don't
I'm
want to
ready
deal with
to be
it.
bald.
I'm not going to look good anyway. So what's the point?
Let's see. How old's my brother? He'll be 30 in October, and he's been bald for about 8 years right now. That would slap you in the face if he heard you say that.
But his hair doesn't get messed up in the wind. You don't have to worry
He
about
doesn't
that.
have any.
Exactly. Just beautiful. I should just take a
My
guard to it.
My head is too damn big to be bald, so I'm hanging on for dear life. Okay?
Just put a hat on, baby.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Moscona would slap you if he heard you say that, too. He's follically challenged as well, if you know.
Nobody needs to be fighting me. I'm not that important. Just carry on.
Real quick, before we get to a quick SEC baseball nugget, which one of the streaks do you like talking about more? The fact that A&M hasn't won a national championship since Elvis Presley was 3, or the fact that Georgia hasn't won one since 1980?
Well, I'd rather make fun of A&M than Georgia. I don't really care about Georgia. I think Athens rocks.
Okay, I do like Athens. Athens is a really good spot.
Best town in the SEC, landslide.
Atlanta's right there if you want to have a big city, so I'm with you. And plus, we make fun of A&M on this show. We've done it for 3 years now.
And we'll continue
Why would
to.
we get away from what we do best? Okay, that's fair enough. SEC baseball schedule. Some news came out yesterday. Looks like we're going to have a normal baseball season. I know a lot of us believed that we were going to have 4-game series within the SEC, and Coach Maneri was on this show when we were on vacation. He kind of thought the same thing. But it looks like we're going to have a normal baseball season. Does that help LSU, or does it really matter?
It doesn't really matter. I was excited at the possibility of 14 straight SEC weekends of high-quality baseball where it doesn't really matter if you lose a baseball game. You just come back and go at it the next time. And if you're going to play 56 SEC games like was possible, going 36-20 is unbelievable. 20 losses. And that would be a fantastic year. So I'd like that. I like the fact that you don't have to have your heart broken every time you drop a baseball game. And that's not the case on a 56-game schedule in the regular season either, but it would be more high-level stuff. You don't have to bring in Bring in the Ivy Leaguers or whoever from out west who can't really play, or play a couple teams in the midweek that stink, and it would make things a little bit more interesting and just more higher level of competition in a sport where it doesn't matter if you win every single game.
I hope so much so that baseball is even close to normal.
Yeah.
I hope that, I know it's going to be limited number. They're not going to open up the box. It's not going to be at its full capacity. I realize that. But I hope it does. By the time we're talking about SEC tournament and regionals and super regionals, I hope it looks like it is a normal baseball season. The box isn't maybe full, but it is still rocking.
Well, yeah, me too. And let's be honest. In conference play, not even throw out the non-conference weekends or the midweeks, but in conference play, on a nice Saturday afternoon game, Saturday night game, Sunday afternoon game, you only get 4,500 in there anyway. I mean, we always talk about 10,000, 12,000. Yeah, maybe if you got Jonathan Gray and Aaron Nola in game 1 of the Super, we might get close to 11,000 in there.
Yeah.
But now that every game's on TV and you can watch every game on your phone, which wasn't the case for years and years and years, attendance isn't what it used to be. So if they let 50% capacity because it's outside, and they let 5,000 in there, that'll feel close to normal in conference play.
Look at you. You're like glass half full today.
I'm very glass half full guy.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody believes that.
Yes, they do. I love just always the glass so half full.
You and being chipper does not come in contact very many times.
I feel like I'm a reasonably happy guy.
Okay, all right. So continue to talk real quick about LSU baseball. I know this is the time when you start to get excited about it. As you've seen this team a couple of times in the fall, you know who's on the roster. You know the freshmen that are coming in. Again, we can't even call them freshmen. What are we supposed to call them now? First-year players that are coming in. You know who's coming back. The roster, travel-wise, is going to be expanded, so you got a couple more opportunities for some guys to get some time that maybe wouldn't get some time within the SEC. It goes from 27 to 30, if I'm not mistaken there. Give us your kind of overview of this LSU baseball team.
Basically what everybody knows, the pitching staff has a chance to be fantastic. I think Marceau is going to dominate. I think he's going to be great. Everyone really feels like Hill's going to be a great top-of-the-line starter. That remains to be seen, but I'd like to think it's very possible, and I love Labus on Sunday. That's as good a Sunday arm as you can find. I have massive concerns about the offense. Last year's team simply was not talented enough and wasn't going to achieve what we like around here. I could see that through 4 weeks.
You said, I believe this time a year ago, you said up the middle, we don't have the dudes. Yeah. That was your exact quote.
And we got to see if some new guys come in. I just said in the break, and it's worth mentioning for sure, Perfect Game came out with their top 10 first-year players in college baseball prospect-wise. Dylan Cruz, number 1.
Yep.
He's going to probably be playing right field for LSU in the opener and hitting somewhere in the middle of the lineup. What does Trey Morgan give you at first base? Maneri loves him. Out of New Orleans. He says he's going to hit third. Okay. Never seen him.
Yeah.
What can Cade Beloso give you? What can Milazzo give you? Is DiGiacomo ready to take a step forward? I don't know what they're going to do on the left side of the infield.
Please hit it on the ground, DiGiacomo.
Yeah, well, there's just – I'm concerned about the offense.
Yeah.
You're going to need some massive improvement from guys who have been on the team, and you're going to need some guys who are new to be big producers.
Okay,
the pitching staff will help, but you got to hit.
Is that because of what we know LSU to be and the offensive guys that we know and the Todd Walkers and the Alex Bregmans and all
you don't
that?
have to be Todd Walker, but
I'm saying, but is that because we've had so much of that in LSU's history? Is this offense good enough to do what Florida did a couple years ago, be dominant on the mound and have enough offense to win? Or is it even worse than that?
You got to be really dominant on the mound for that to be the case. And I'm not ready to put Jaden Hill and Landon Marceau in the category with Faedo and Singer. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
They've got the ability to be that good. I'm not there. So
there's the Hunt, I know.
Well, I mean, what am I?
No, it's good. It's fine. It's fine.
I get blasted. I'm a sunshine pumper. Rah rah.
Who has ever called you that?
Oh, that happens all the time.
Like, Cody gets that a lot, but
well, he's paid to do that.
So,
but I'm excited about the team. I'm excited about baseball. I'd love to get out on the field and have some sense of normalcy out there, but I have concerns on the offense. Period.
When you look at the SEC, go around the conference, kind of like we did with basketball in the first hour, give us the look at SEC baseball, kind of who's, like going back to our metaphor, first class, business class coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, Vanderbilt, who I don't think we're going to play. The schedule's not totally out yet, but I don't think we're going to play them. They've got the best 1-2 maybe that I've ever seen. I mean, that's high praise, but it's possible. Yeah. With Kumar Rocker at the 1 and Jack Leiter at the 2, that could be an issue. Florida's got Leftwich at the front of their location. They're going to be very, very good again.
Byron Leftwich?
It's not.
No, not Byron.
Jack. But LSU, pitching-wise, should stand up. Yeah. Vanderbilt and Florida are your best two on the other side. Georgia lost their flame-throwing guys at the top of their rotation, so they take a step back. I do like what Ole Miss has, but I think Florida and Vanderbilt are the class of the league.
Anybody take a step? We saw some teams take a step a year ago. Some teams that were at the bottom started to make some way before the season got canceled. Any teams you see that we typically know to be at the bottom of the SEC to kind of pay attention to?
We don't know them to be at the bottom of the SEC, but I'm not going to totally fall asleep on South Carolina.
I mean, they've been kind of at the bottom last couple of years.
They've been not great the last few years. It just Tanner's hires haven't materialized like you would want a coach who's been in that arena for so long to have it figured out. But I wouldn't write them off just yet.
All right, we will take our next break. When we come back, we are going to shift our focus to the NFL. Of course, the New Orleans Saints taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a third time. Of course, this time in the playoffs with a lot on the line. We're going to talk with Ken Trahan of CrescentCitySports.com when we come back here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Honda.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you by Gotro's Outdoor Power. 2 locations locally in Baton Rouge. That is Airline at Industriaplex in Gonzales. It's Airline at 74. We tell you that because, man, you're going to walk into this place and the showrooms are set up for success. You're going to find a piece of Skag power equipment that you love, and it doesn't really matter what you're looking for, residential or commercial-wise. They've got it all. Remember, we tell you about it every single day. 0% for 60 months, now available on all models of that Skag power equipment. So Turf Tiger, Tiger Cat, the Patriot, the Freedom Z, the Cheetah, the Liberty Z, all the Skag power equipment that you'll be impressed by over at Gotro's Outdoor Power. And do not forget free delivery across the state of Louisiana. GotrosOutdoorPower.com is the website. So no matter where you're at in the state, if you're listening to us up in Shreveport, watching us on CST, free delivery to your doorstep. Again, GotrosOutdoorPower.com is the website. Check it out there. That's Gotros. We make it easy.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Choose your fighter. Dax, 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 Dax with antioxidant vitamin C.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Happy New Year from Corval Toyota in Opelousas. You can get into a Corolla for $239 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, previewing Saints Bucs with Mike Detillier, and we'll recap LSU Arkansas and hoops. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Welcome back in. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda. We do have some questions about LSU baseball in the Bayou 4 chat. We will get to those, so Hunt, be ready for the LSU baseball questions. But we're talking New Orleans Saints football now. Our guy, Kenny Trahan, CrescentCitySports.com, joins us. Ken, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine, guys. How are you?
Doing well. Always appreciate your time. Facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the third time. And I realize that beating a team with Tom Brady 3 times in one season seems like a very tall task, but the Saints dominated the first 2 matchups. And I'm a big believer in beating a team even a second time is very difficult. So I know it can be, but with the way the Saints did it, it makes me feel okay about this matchup. Am I crazy, or do you feel the same way?
No, I feel the same way. I think it's a good matchup for the Saints. I think they match up well with this team. And I think in many cases numbers don't tell a story, but in this particular instance, I think the numbers do tell a story. And I wrote a story about it at CrescentCitySports.com with all the numbers from these games and with the matchup that I think tells a story. It goes way beyond the 72-29 points. If you look at the first downs, if you look at the time of possession, if you look at the rushing yards, if you look at the interceptions, if you look at the pressures, the hits on quarterbacks, the sacks as well. If you look at every measurable from these 2 games, it's pretty revealing. And then, of course, you also look at matchups individually, because we all know what Marshawn Lattimore has done to Mike Evans. He's erased him. I mean, basically erased him. Last 3 meetings against Lattimore, Evans has 0 catches, none. And over his career against the Saints, he only averages 51 yards and receptions a game, 13 games that he's played against New Orleans. So when you consider all those numbers, that's not a fluke. That's a lot of measurables to consider. And ultimately, and Jacob can appreciate this most, this boils down to the most simplistic concept of football. The Saints have dominated up front in both games. They've won on both sides of the ball up front, and that's been huge. So I think that has Tampa Bay gotten better in that regard? I mean, you would think they have. But, again, the narrative is, oh, well, you can't beat a team 3 times, and, oh, they've improved so much. Well, let's look at what they've done since they played the Saints. They're 5-2. Who do they beat? They beat teams with a combined record of 21-42 record, 21-43 actually, and none of them any good. And the 2 teams they lost to were the Rams and the Chiefs, and there's no shame in that whatsoever. So are they improved? Yes. Have they improved markedly? I don't think so. Are the Saints the same team that they saw on that 38-3 debacle? I don't think the Saints could ever play that well again, but the Saints are not only the same team, they might be better because they might be the healthiest they've been. Not totally healthy, no Nick Easton, and we'll see about the 3 that didn't practice yesterday, but still healthier than they've been outside of Quan Alexander, of course. So, look, I think the Saints – and the other thing is this, guys. Everybody talks about the motivation for the Buccaneers. Well, they're going to be really motivated. The Saints have beaten them twice. The Saints have incredible motivation on 2 fronts. Number one, they have this lingering 3-year drought in their minds and their heads, and they get reminded of it all the time about these terrible endings to their seasons. And then, frankly, and I can tell you this firsthand, they're tired of hearing about the Buccaneers. The national narrative from the very start, dating back to June and July, was here's this super team. They went out and signed all these guys, got them on board, and man, oh man, how is anybody going to beat them? And oh my goodness, they not only added Brady, Gronkowski, and Fournette, now they got Antonio Brown, and oh my goodness, they've got too many players, too much talent, and I think they're tired of hearing it, frankly. And then one more factor. Look, beating a team 3 times in a season, the whole narrative, that's hard to do, is overrated. In the modern era, 20 of 32 times, the team that won the first 2 won the third. That's a pretty good percentage, I think. And the Saints did it in 2017 against the Panthers. Is it hard to do? Of course. Is it doable? Absolutely. Will it be done? I think it will be.
Ken, I asked this very open-ended intentionally, but what do you make of the way Drew Brees is playing right now?
I think he's playing better every week. So I think that's the key. And the other thing was, he said personally, and he was honest, he said, I probably came back a week too soon. And he didn't play well against Kansas City, and they lost by 3. And he's being very honest. But I also think that the fact that he came back that week was incredibly beneficial, because it enabled him to knock off rust. It enabled him to play through pain, figure out what he can do and what he cannot do. And he has gotten better every week. If he didn't have that week, would he be as far along as he is now? I don't know the answer to that, but there's a chance he wouldn't be. So I think he's playing well. He's making the decisions you always make. And if you want to define his career, the guy turns 42 tomorrow. Just go back and look at the play last week, the touchdown pass to Latavius Murray. The reason Drew Brees is so good is because he processes and sees things that 90% of quarterbacks in the league do not see. Latavius Murray was about a 6th option on that play. First, you got to have good offensive line protection, and they did. Second, he went through every progression imaginable, and nobody was open. And Latavius Murray was in pass protection. He ended up on his can. Well, he's a veteran player, too. So Murray got up. Brees instinctively looked his way. Murray smartly leaked out, caught a little quick pass, rambled for a touchdown. I think that play probably defined the career of Drew Brees more than anything else he's ever done. And that was just a little 2 or 3 yard shovel, basically, to a guy standing close to him. So, again, that's why he's so valuable. His intelligence, his ability to move secondaries, understanding the coverages and where to go with the football. And, oh, by the way, he's still accurate, still completing over 70% of his passes at going on 42 years of age. So, look, he's a special guy, playing indoors, good conditions, makes it better. They get Traquan Smith back this week as well. So from a weapons perspective, don't know about Murray yet, but by and large, he's got all the key guys that he really needs to have on the field, minus Taysom Hill, and we'll see what happens with him.
Ken Trahan, CrescentCitySports.com is our guest here on Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Now, Ken, about 4 months ago, I've got to give you a lot of credit. You were talking up the defensive backs for this Saints team. And I know at the beginning of the season when they played against the Raiders, they had some struggles, but you said this is one of, if not the most talented defensive backfield in Saints history. And, boy, they have stepped up in a big way. They have got a swagger about them. They are playing at an elite level with a lot of confidence right now.
Well, again, I thought it was pretty stupid, right? I said that for the first month with the way they played. But Marcus Williams, even though he bit last week on that trick play and was beaten for a touchdown, which was dropped, has had a good year. He's had his best season. So there's that. But then, of course, you got the corners, and Lattimore is not elite, but he's real good. And then Janoris Jenkins, he's good. He's a good player. And that helps tremendously. And then, of course, the emergence of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who, if he's on your team, you love him. If he's on the other team, you hate him because of the way he needles people and talks and gets under their skin. And he's gotten not one but 2 Bears receivers kicked out of games this year. So Sean Payton talked about it this week. And Sean Payton was very clear about it. He said, as long as he doesn't hurt the team, he steps over the line, look out. But so far, so good. The guy's a good football player. He's had a good year. He covers well in the slot, and he tackles well. Patrick Robinson's hurt right now, but might play. But you're talking about a guy that's your 4th or 5th guy. That guy could start for most teams. He's pretty good. And then there's P.J. Williams, who's versatile to do a lot of things for you. And I haven't even mentioned the other safety position with Malcolm Jenkins and what he's brought to the team with his leadership and smarts. So, yeah, this secondary has turned out to be what I thought it would be, which is the most talented secondary they've had in the franchise's history. And when you combine that with a really good defensive front, you understand why this team's top 5 in defense and has been that way for the past 2 to 3 months.
We just kind of laid it out, but to add on to that, Tom Brady's thrown 12 picks this year. 5 of them, that's almost half, are against the Saints. Is there anything to that?
Yeah, I think it's up front. Like I said, the Saints have dominated up front against Tampa Bay. It's not just the sacks, which they have 6 of Brady. It's the fact that they've hit him, 15, 16 times. I mean, he's constantly got people hitting him are in his face, and we all know he's a stationary target. He's a pocket guy. He understands how to move the pocket very well, and to sidestep and to step into the pocket and so forth. But having said that, when you have pressure from all angles, which they've been able to do in every game they've played, and not allow them to run the ball too, well, then it becomes a free-for-all up front, and the Saints have dominated in that phase. So, yeah, I think there's something to it, but I think it's as basic as we talked about earlier, which is when you win up front, you win. And the Saints have won up front in both games, and they've won both games. It's a domino effect. You pressure up front, and you get interceptions. You get incomplete passes, and you get sacks. If you don't pressure against a guy like that, he's got very talented players out there, not just Evans, but Godwin and Scotty Miller. And, again, the tight ends are good from Gronkowski to Braid, and they've got guys that can go get it. I mean, look, we know that, and now Antonio Brown's in the fold, and my guess is the Saints leave Evans matched up with Lattimore. Why would you change that? And that means Jenkins would probably get Godwin. So then what do you do with Antonio Brown? Would it be CJ, or would it be a combination? My guess is it would be more of a combination coverage in that regard, because the one thing you know is Brady's not going anywhere. He's going to be there, so you don't need to spy. And, you don't need – if you can avoid having the blitz, you're really in good shape, because then you're winning up front and you can cover with 7.
Ken, you mentioned at the beginning of this interview a couple of guys missed practice the other day. One of those guys on Wednesday was Taysom Hill. What do you expect his role to be in this game? Because we know last time we saw him, he had a big turnover in the game against the Bears. Obviously, every game's a little bit different for Taysom Hill, but do you expect him to be in the same role that he was in against Chicago if he is indeed okay to play?
If he's okay to play, I certainly think he will be. He's a big part of their run game. And now passing is another story, right?
Yeah.
On that particular play last week when he fumbled the ball, he had pressure from the outside, but he had time to get rid of that pass, in particular since he had 2 guys, not 1, but 2 open. Emmanuel Sanders was open deep, and the tight end Adam Troutman was wide open on a 15-yard cross. And he apparently didn't see either one, or at least he didn't see him in time. So, and again, that gets back to my original premise about Breeze. The biggest strength he has, aside from the obvious, which is accuracy, is his ability to see the field and understand coverages. And clearly that's not a strength of Taysom Hill at quarterback right now. The strength of Taysom Hill is clear. Get back there, take a snap, take off, right? Yep. And if you are back there as a quarterback and you're Taysom Hill, you got to have more of a Lamar Jackson approach, which is first read, not there, I'm gone. See you later. And I think, that's who he is. So it gets back to the other most basic premise of football: square peg, round hole, or round peg, round hole. Play to your player's strengths. His strength is one read and run the football, because he can really run. Now, if he's healthy enough to do that, he's a big weapon. If he's not, that takes something away from the Saints. So, again, we'll just have to let it play out. He's a tough dude. If he's capable of playing, he's going to play.
Hey, real quick, Ken, before I let you go, this isn't a Saints question, but an NFL question. It looks like Urban Meyer is actually pretty close to becoming the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You've covered the NFL and college football for so long. What's your initial thoughts on how that would work out?
Well, mixed reaction. Urban Meyer is, I don't want to go so far as to say, he's the Lou Saban of this era. If anybody remembers Lou Saban, who coached at about 15 places, right? But he seems to get, he seems to feel like the kettle's hot and gets out frequently, right? When you look at his history, but he's always won. So you give him a lot of credit because he knows when to get out and when to step up, and he's been in places to win, but he's never done it at this level. And again, it's a jury out situation, because how many college coaches have truly been successful going straight from college to the pros without pro coaching experience? The answer is very few. And we know some of the big names that have tried it, and it didn't really work for them at all. In particular, some guys in the SEC, and Steve Spurrier, Nick Saban, and so forth, although I think Saban would have been successful had he stayed, and had the Dolphins medical staff not decided that Drew Brees couldn't throw a football anymore, we never would have seen Nick Saban at Alabama, okay? So, but that happened, and everything else happened after that. So the college guys that have not had pro experience previously have typically not had very good success. So that doesn't mean Urban Meyer will not. He's walking into a situation where it's a quagmire of a franchise, but they've got some talent on hand, and they have the number 1 pick. So it's kind of an attractive situation. Oh, by the way, it's in Florida, which is familiar territory for him,
right,
and a great place to live when you want to retire, right? So I think it's one of those situations where I don't have the answer whether he'll succeed or not, but history tells us it's not easy for these guys coming straight from college.
Ken, we appreciate your time. As always, you can catch Ken's work, CrescentCitySports.com. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, there he is. Ken Trahan joins us every single week to talk New Orleans Saints. We'll mix some Pelicans in there as well, but with the Saints in the postseason, always love getting Ken's opinions. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Justin Vincent will be in studio with us here on Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Honda.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we are brought to you by Patient Plus Urgent Care Center. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. We've been telling you this is a company that was raised in Baton Rouge. These are people who care about Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge area. They've got 6 locations across this area. This is somewhere where you can go in. Of course, you can get your common urgent care services, but also x-rays, IV hydration, EKGs, sports physicals, right? If you're starting that new sport season here coming up in the winter, you've got sutures, which we've had to do at the Hester household, staples as well, flu, strep, and COVID tests, and they have all that available at all 6 of their locations. You're going to walk in. This is a transparent place as well, right? They don't have to make you come out of the room and wonder, where's the doctor at? No, they have glass windows, so you see exactly what's going on behind the scenes. You know when you're going to get out and get in and get out. Get in and get better over at Patient Plus, PatientPlusUC.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Join us for a Thursday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. LSU basketball gets a win last night, and we continue to break down Saints Bucs in the Superdome on Sunday. Come out and see us or tune in at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, back here hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda, Hunt Palmer, and Justin Vincent now with me in studio here on a Thursday afternoon. JV, it's been a hot minute. What's going on, my man?
Nothing, man. It has been, man. I felt like y'all just kicked me to the curb, but
no, man. We understood that you got a day job and you were out there doing your deed and making sure that, you know, the Tiger Athletic Foundation was well taken care of.
Yeah, man. We're rolling in the right direction. You know, fortunate for us, you know, people are still giving. They still understand the need for our student athletes, and those who can give, they are doing their best to keep us up and running and having the best facilities and scholarships for our student athletes.
All right, so real quick before we get to LSU, I did mention something to Ken Trahan right before we let him go, and I know that you would have some feelings on this. Reports are that Urban Meyer is potentially going to be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got some thoughts there?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. You know, with his issues of health in the past, and then all of a sudden he's ready. But he's been on TV on Fox Sports, and he's been doing his thing. You know, commentate with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and the whole nine, and he seems fine to me. At the end of the day, yeah. I mean, obviously we have mixed feelings down here about Florida, so I have no sleep lost over that dude, like either getting the job or not getting the job. But I just think he ran from a situation in Florida that was inevitable, and fortunately for Florida, they didn't get hit with many violations.
Right.
And
well,
he didn't.
Dan has now, but at that point, he left before. Yeah,
he didn't. He got out of there before they dropped the hammer.
Right.
And they, fortunately for them, they didn't, and they kind of escaped out of that thing. But it could have been ugly. I mean, you had Tim Tebow to Aaron Hernandez to Percy Harvin. I mean, it was a show over there.
Where do y'all have the NFL jobs right now? Because you've got a number of jobs that are open with some young quarterbacks in place in some of these spots, the potential to have a young quarterback like in Jacksonville having the number one pick. And I've said it for the last week or two, whatever it's been. I think the Chargers job, and that's not because I played there. That's because of Justin Herbert. That's because of Joey Bosa and Derwin James, a new stadium. I realize they're like the 10th biggest ticket in L.A., but still it's L.A., so you can get free agents to sign in a place like that. What do y'all have as the top jobs? Is it something different than San Diego, Los Angeles?
JV, I'll let you go first. I mean, I have some thoughts on it.
I think that's the biggest job, but I think the biggest question mark in NFL is the New York Jets. First of all, that's
good luck with that.
Yeah, you're battling, a two-headed monster up there with the Giants and yourself. You share a stadium. It's tough to win there. I mean, they hadn't won it there since my man, what's his name, Trevette was the receiver.
Wayne Corbett.
Woo,
That's been a minute.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been consistently.
Vinny Testaverde, I think, was throwing in balls.
You know what I mean? Curtis Martin.
Chad Pennington was throwing most of the balls to Corbett, I believe.
Yeah.
He could barely throw. I mean, that guy.
at the end.
That guy
he raises Bucking Bulls now.
Does he really?
Yeah, him and Todd McClure need to link up.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even see the things you learn when JV comes on. Now, they did have some success with Mark Sanchez before the butt fumble. They went to back-to-back AFC championship games, but that was more because of Calvin Pace and then defense and Bart Scott and some of the Revis. He was pretty good. I don't know if y'all remember Darrell Revis and his Revis Island, but yeah, the Jets job, I'm staying far away from that.
Yeah, if I was any coach with any kind of resume that's got some girth to it, I would definitely take off running.
I mean, Jacob, I probably agree with you, which doesn't make for the greatest radio in terms of Herbert and the Chargers and where they are. It's never gonna create an environment like Kansas City over there. You're never gonna be in the middle of like you are in the Superdome. But you've got the best chance to put together a really good football team out there. Jacksonville can't get out of its own way. They actually acquired some really good players and had a good football team a couple years ago, and then everybody wanted out as fast as they could get out. Yeah. And I think Shad Khan's got 1 foot across the Atlantic Ocean, and they're going to send that team to London at some point, which is going to be an absolute disaster. Yeah, there's some really good things about it. One, you're going to get Trevor Lawrence and a chance to start from scratch there. And two, they've got a ton of cap space.
Yeah.
But
because they got no good players.
Right, but it's just the situation has never been good and is not good right now. I think I love the idea of being the Jets coach. You're never going to be lacking on passion, and you've got a gorgeous stadium facilities, and you're in the spotlight, and it looks like New England is not what they were for better part of 2 decades, so you got a better fighting chance up there, but I think San Diego is probably the ticket at this point. I mean, Houston looks like a disaster right now.
Oh, yeah. Bill O'Brien set that thing off and took off running.
I mean, Deshaun Watson is I think we can call him, he's a generational talent. And now there's still things he has to prove and win Super Bowls and play all games. But talent-wise, you're talking about a dude.
My man threw for 5,000 yards.
And he led the league this year, and he is ready to get out. And Houston is a place that a lot of people, no matter if they're from there or not, they end up moving there. It's a city. It's a destination city for a lot. I know a lot of our former teammates, JV, that even, were from Louisiana. They found their way to Houston. They stayed in Houston. He wants out. He wants on the first thing smoking out of there.
Yeah, you be careful what you wish for, because you might land somewhere like New York or, somewhere where you're not as beloved as you are in Houston. Obviously, Houston got a bunch of things, with the GM situation. There was some rumbling saying that, he's supposed to be included in those conversations, and he wasn't, and all this stuff. I think it just started with Bill. Whenever you give a head coach, I think in the NFL, a little bit of say-so in the front office stuff when it comes to GM responsibilities, and he's also coaching, that's bad.
Too much.
It's too much.
It's too much on his plate. It's too much power. It's too much on his plate. I think both those things are true.
Toss something to two former players here as we kind of talk about this kind of stuff? We know Deshaun Watson's upset with the things that are going on hiring-wise in the same city. Coincidentally, James Harden was upset about some of the things that go on in terms of the front office and acquiring players, and he basically just quit, and they had to get rid of him for draft picks. What do you say about players having say about what goes on organizationally?
I think they should know their place, but I think in Deshaun Watson's situation, it was different because they said they were going to include him, and they didn't.
Okay,
that's different. Now, like with James Harden, he's wild.
The NBA's different too.
He's wild. My man, they put on about 40 pounds.
You looking like Mark Henry out there,
dude. It was amazing when I saw him the other night against the Lakers. I was like, he's literally about to bust out that jersey. It was ridiculous.
It was all part of his,
plan.
His
he
plan
basically said he wasn't going to show up to training camp.
Yeah.
He showed up last minute. He's out there, kind of going through the motions. You could tell.
Right.
Whenever you're at odds with somebody and you don't have too much say-so, especially in your career, but you're good enough talent to go elsewhere, you're going to lobby like hell to try to get out of there. And he did, and hopefully Houston can get it together and Brooklyn can win some games because they got a lot of players now.
Let's parlay this back into the Houston Texans real quick. You mentioned Bill O'Brien. There's a real possibility he's the next offensive coordinator at Alabama. This is a man that traded away one of the best receivers in football, if not the best, for basically nothing, for a overused running back and a couple of draft picks, right? I don't know where his head was then. I know he's had success on the college level at Penn State. But how do y'all feel about Bill O'Brien possibly coming back to Alabama to call plays?
I wonder. All of Saban's hires have worked. I can't think of one off the top of my head that was just a disaster. Even though he and Kiffin parted ways at the end, I think it's fair to say that Kiffin overhauled that offense, led him into the future, and it worked. So I don't have any reason to sit here and say, well, that's not going to work. But I will say there's something about a guy who's a head coach in the NFL who wants to be the GM too and do everything, to now go into the office where he's going to, at some point on when you miss a third down, absolutely blow a gasket on you. Saban is going to rip him every which way. Are you ready to go from that position in Houston to that position in Tuscaloosa? I don't know.
That's a great point. He had all the power in Houston. I mean, he had all the power. He was the guy. He was the man. And all of a sudden, 3rd and 8, and you come up short, and you've got this man yelling at you, holding his hamstring like Nick does when he yells at people.
100%, because Nick's going to be sitting at the end of the table with his glasses on the end of his nose, with his loafers with no socks on, and going to just chew him out like no tomorrow, because, that's strong of an ego, and I think that strong of a personality may work in certain situations, but he's going into a hornet's nest. He's going to have to tame that thing down, or Nick's going to unload on him, because you knew for a fact that Lane Kiffin took it on the chin, Sark took it on the chin, Mike took it on the chin. Like, all these folks took it on the chin for him because they know how Nick is, but they know they work for him, they win, they're going to get opportunities elsewhere.
It's a coaching rehab spot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's proven
Look
to
at
be
Butch.
that. Yeah.
Look at Butch, Arkansas State. My man, our man, Brian Johnson, is a new strength coach over there.
All right.
So, and those people, they go to Nick for, basically rehab and going about their life.
I mean, does this one feel a little bit different because Sark was the head coach at USC? It's as big of a job as there is in college football. I understand that. He was at Washington. Butch was at Tennessee. Charlie Strong was at Texas. Those are big-time programs that have come back and been on the staff there, but they weren't NFL head coaches and GMs. Does this one feel a little bit different and see what that power struggle and the power structure itself looks like?
I'd say so.
I think so. It's an interesting dynamic.
So throw a wrinkle in there for sure.
And give Nick credit. He's been able to bring everyone in. It doesn't matter the personality, and it's worked for the most part. And I think he's changed in that aspect of it, but this one is going to be the biggest hurdle.
Oh, yeah, because at some point you got to believe that when Nick brought him in and they had that conversation about him coming on staff, that he basically was like, well, you do know I run this, right? So let's not get out ahead of ourselves at practice or in meetings. If you feel any kind of way, you need to come in my office or I'll go in yours and we can cuss each other out till the cows come home. But none of that out there.
He changed a little bit this year. I had the opportunity to interview Nick 2 different times this year, and just everything he said. I mean, he would talk about players in a different way. He would talk about how happy he was with this team. He would talk about how much fun. Yeah, Nick said fun.
Yeah.
Multiple times he was having with this team. We saw him emotional after the championship game. I mean, do you have any thought to why maybe it changed? He's just getting older?
Well, I spoke to him on the phone probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and you could tell immediately then. And that was right after Marcus Spears had did the drive-in with him.
Right.
And they were kind of like talking or whatever, and you just seemed like he was just at peace, like he was relaxed. He didn't tense. He didn't like grinding his teeth and cutting eyes at you. He was actually kind of cracked a smile and looked like he was comfortable, and he kind of cemented himself in somewhere, and he was being himself. But yeah, I think he softened up, just like Coach Moffitt.
Ooh. Okay.
He just had a birthday, by the way.
I hope he's listening. There's sometimes we can catch Coach Moffitt, and he'll give us a listen. He'll help us out, get some ratings up. I hope he's listening
If
right
he is,
now.
just to reiterate, JV called you soft.
He did.
Yeah, I did.
He said you're getting a little soft.
He doesn't yell as much anymore. He kind of divvies out those duties.
Well, he yelled enough at us. I think he lost his voice.
Yeah, he did.
That's probably what happened there. All right, we still got a lot to come. JV's going to hang around for another segment. We'll be back here on Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Honda.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we are brought to you by Tiger Air. Baton Rouge Air Conditioning and Heating Service, Repair, and Maintenance. They are your go-to spot. You can find them online at tiger-air.com. Something we always tell you about because, as y'all know, we're here in South Louisiana. You might have your heater on in the morning. You can have that air conditioning blowing at its full capacity at night because the weather changed here, right? The Comfort Assurance Protection Plan allows to make sure that your system is at its peak performance. You're going to get increased equipment life if you're part of this plan. You're, of course, going to have that seasonal maintenance that we tell you about, which is so important. You're going to get discounts on parts and labor. That's going to save you money. Lower utility bills. That's also going to save you money. Emergency and priority service. Sometimes it just, things happen and you have to have it. You get that at a discounted rate. So they're saving your money. They're making sure you get a longer lifespan from your equipment. All that part of the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan from Tiger Air. Tiger-air.com. Give them a call as well for a free quote today. 225-754-8687.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Hey, it's Musso. Join us for Fridays Off the Bench. Hunt Palmer stops by in his weekly spot to talk LSU football and LSU basketball. We'll have the D-Generation Dome, a brand new OTB tier list, and more. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, we're back here hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Honda, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 AM The Tiger, and Cox Sports Television, here with Hunt Palmer and Justin Vincent. All right, now ESPN put out an all Nick Saban team, since we talked about him a little bit in the last segment. Only one player from LSU made the list. Our guy, Marcus Spears, first-round pick. No rebuttal with him making the list here. But you mean to tell me that Andrew Whitworth,
Michael Clayton,
shouldn't be on this list over Andre Smith and some other guys?
Oh.
Andrew Whitworth is one of the best pure tackles you'll ever see.
Is Andre Smith at the crib? Like, is he at home?
If he's not, he should be.
I mean, because Andrew just played the other day.
Yeah. After, like, basically
tearing all his
miraculous
yeah.
comeback at, was he 38? He's got to be. I'm 35.
I'm about to be 38 next week.
Woo,
we got
you old.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I am. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. But, yeah, for somebody that's still in the NFL, we got in the NFL, what, in 05? 04, 05?
06.
No.
Right? He played in the –
I was 06. He was before me.
Well, no, but the 06 draft, right? Because he played in the 05.
Yeah, 05.
Peach
That's what
Bowl.
I'm saying.
Right,
05.
right.
Like, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's been rumbling around that long and being dominant. So you pick that dude over Witt. Yeah. There's some bias over there. Did they make that list in Birmingham?
I don't know. No fullback on the list anyway, so it's null and void to me. Right?
I pick you over LeRon McClain.
I appreciate that. Thank you, JV. All right, I do want to talk some LSU football. We've got JV here, 2 new offensive coordinators, the OC and the passing game coordinator. They had their press conference. You get some young guys in there. We know DJ Mangas. He was here in 2019. I know you've had conversations with him. What did you think when you initially heard the moves?
I was surprised. Obviously, I didn't know who Peetz was. I had no idea. But obviously, DJ, we go back as far as last year when he first got here. Introduced him to my barber. Got him some cuts.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, cut him and Joe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's how we
Joe had that taper fade too.
Yeah, he did. He liked it. Yeah. Yeah. So we linked up that way, man. That's how we kind of crossed paths. And I ran into him in the hallway the day before yesterday. I was in the building. I got a chance to see him. We hugged it out a little bit, and glad to have him back, man. And obviously he retained a lot of information. He was Joe's right-hand man.
Right.
Knows what we like and knows what our guys like to do, and he can put those guys in position to make plays. And I'm excited for him. I think the offensive coordinator, it's going to be some growing pains for me, obviously, because he's new. We don't know him. Obviously, Joe recommended him, highly recommended him. I think he's more than capable of doing the job, but we got some players that are probably going to make his situation a whole lot easier too.
And he said that in his press conference. I mean, he mentioned when he was meeting the guys that looked like some of the guys he just left in Carolina. We've got about 2 minutes left here in this segment, JV. I do want to ask you about the quarterbacks and the quarterback competition. My hope is they open it up. I hope it's a full competition. I mean, when we were on the team together, Jamarcus Flynn, Perilou. I don't think people realize there was a little bit of an open competition.
Yeah.
I mean, Flynn had an opportunity every single year. It wasn't just lip service.
Yeah, definitely. There has to be an open competition this year because of just having a new guy in there. Everybody started scratch. Both of the guys had 2 pretty good games. Obviously. The young guy finished out the remainder of the year, and he did really well. And went up there in Florida in a hostile environment, which we all know. Obviously, the place wasn't packed, but that place is still intimidating, to say the least. And he did an unbelievable job. Fearless, and that's what I like about him. Even though he looks 12, he's fearless as hell. And he did an amazing job. So hopefully, this competition, it brings out the best in everybody and propels us in the direction that we want to go.
All right, we've got about a minute left. Defense coordinator, what are you expecting to see? Do you have a certain mold that you're hoping LSU stays with, or whatever the best candidate is?
Best candidate, and also somebody that's young and energetic and can get the heartbeat of this team, especially that defense, and kind of relate to the guys a little bit.
I wouldn't mind a recruiter. Think about some of the guys that have been here in the past. They've been great X's and O's guys, but they haven't really gone out there on the trail.
Yeah, we need the total package. We need somebody who is a Swiss Army knife that can get it done, coach the linebackers, coach the hell out of defense, and recruit his butt off. So, hopefully this process, us kind of dwindling down to try to find a good one, it's going in the right direction.
All right, since we've got about a minute left, JV, I've enjoyed having you back on the show. You used to join me at least once a week, every single week. I know you've gotten busy. I know you got some things going on, but now the Bayou 4 chat wants you to come back more, so I'm going to call you out on air with about 30 seconds left. Now you got to come back.
Oh, I'm definitely coming back. I'm the one who texted you.
No. Slow down. Slow down.
Listen, folks hold on. Time out. Folks that are listening.
He did.
I said, man, look, when you go get your boy back, man? I'm trying to.
Well, there for a while, we wasn't letting people in the building. And then as soon as it opened up, I said, we got to get you in. And now you're here. So JV will be with us more here in the very, very near future. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back in hour number 3, Barrett Sallee of CBS Sports joins us here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Tonda.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Meet football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Trahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Rams coach Sean McVay announcing quarterback Jared Goff will start Saturday's NFC Divisional playoff game against the Packers. Goff had surgery on his thumb 2 weeks ago. John Wolford is out of the game with a neck injury. The Jags and former Ohio State coach Urban Meyer meeting again today. The situation trending toward a deal being completed to make Meyer Jacksonville's new head coach, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, but no agreement is in place. Meyer has been assembling a coaching staff in case he decides to take the job. And there are plenty of reasons Jacksonville's one of the most attractive openings, notes Schefter.
The Jaguars have the #1 overall pick and the opportunity to draft Trevor Lawrence, or even if Urban Meyer wanted Justin Fields, a quarterback he once helped recruit to Ohio State. They have 11 picks scheduled for the upcoming April draft. They have over $100 million in salary cap space.
NBA Nets GM Sean Marks said Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are committed to gelling with their newest teammate, James Harden. Marks also said he consulted with Katie and Kyrie as the team moved quickly yesterday toward making the deal to acquire Harden.
Look, we all accidentally damage our phones. It happens. Now, Straight Talk Wireless's new Platinum Unlimited plan includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, data, and more. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
All right, welcome into hour number 3 of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda, here with Hunt Palmer on a Thursday afternoon. Glad to welcome back onto the show Barrett Sallee, CBS Sports and Sirius XM Radio, joins us now. Barrett, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Doing well. Hey, can I go ahead and just get my Braves question out of the way before we get to college football? Can I just go ahead and do it? I usually save it for the end.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we go ahead and sign DJ LeMahieu and just put him anywhere?
I'm 100% for that. Look, sign Marcelo Ozuna, sign DJ LeMahieu, and go ahead and start printing up those World Series shirts, because they will become very useful at the end of October in 2021.
Wait, what's this sign? I was understanding everyone's supposed to give all their players away.
No,
you're allowed to acquire players?
You're a Cubs fan. That's what you all did. The Braves are actually going the other way.
Yeah, the Braves actually care about baseball, and the city of Atlanta actually cares about baseball.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thank you, Barrett, for helping me out there. All right, let's talk college football. Got to the finish line. So many people made this possible, but it was a long haul. I realized that, but I am so happy that college football was able to figure it out. And, of course, we're biased, but the SEC was a big part of it. Commissioner Sankey was out in front of everything. They played all but one game. And so I just wanted to give a big shout out, and I know you kind of feel the same way, to everyone that made college football possible.
Yeah, Greg Sankey, John Swafford, Bob Bowlesby,
Yep.
All those guys deserve a ton of credit because they approached this with a practical mindset, with the idea that they don't know what's going to happen, so it's ridiculous and impossible to forecast what will happen, and they said they'll adjust accordingly, and they did, and as a result, we got to the end. It was not easy, but I think anybody that understands college football, and I was saying this to non-college football sports fans this summer, like, it's not going to be like the NBA, and it's not going to be like Major League Baseball or the NHL when they came back. College football is dysfunctional. The power structure is dysfunctional. So you're going to have a little bit more chaos, but that's just the way it has to be. And for the most part, nobody got hospitalized, nobody died, thankfully. So, it was not perfect, but in terms of success, it absolutely had to be considered a success. And at times this summer, especially from people in our own industry, it seemed like people were out to get college football. But here we are. I think in reality, the people who respect and understand everything that goes on inside those walls of a football complex got their way, and we got a season, and we got a national champion out of it.
Unfortunately, we got a national champion. We don't need to talk about that. But Barrett, I was just sitting between Jacob Hester and Justin Vincent, a pair of guys who played for Nick Saban, and they were both kind of commenting on the fact that they see a guy who may be softening just a little bit and enjoying things a little bit more than maybe he has over the last 30 years. Do you sense that when you see him?
Yeah, I do get the sense that it is that he does enjoy things more. I think that he understands that his time as a coach are coming to an end, and he savors these things. And a lot of times it's because he's a granddad. He's got a different perspective of life these days. So he is enjoying it more, and I think that showed on Monday night. And he still gets after it. Don't get me wrong, but I do think that he allows himself to enjoy those wins, not just worry about the possibility of losing, because he's always said he hates losing more than he enjoys winning. I think that gap between those two mindsets has shrunk for sure.
We know it's been a revolving door of coordinators over there. They move them in, they move them out. It's a coaching rehab spot, as Jacob said in the last segment, and it generally seems to continue things rolling down the tracks pretty smoothly. What would you make of a Bill O'Brien hire at the offensive staff there?
It's look, I don't understand it, but we're talking about Nick Saban. I didn't understand Lane Kiffin. I didn't understand Brian Dable. I didn't understand Jim McElwain. I didn't understand Steve Sarkisian. All those things worked out pretty well. So, as a head coach in the NFL, it didn't work out. As a head coach at Penn State, just sort of okay. The offense is pretty good at Penn State with Hackenberg, but I don't get it. But again, it's Nick. He has earned the benefit of the doubt in that department as offensive coordinators go. So, in terms of quarterback development, he's going to have his, kind of his own toy in Bryce Young. Got weapons all over it, but inexperienced. So I think if there's a time to make a change like that, it is this year with a lot of new players who are supposed to make big impacts.
Kind of staying with Alabama, it seems like Texas and Sark are doing their best to hire away everyone that Sark had a relationship at Alabama to Texas. And, hey, the same could be said about Auburn hiring every South Carolina coach as well.
Yeah, how about that? Mike Bobo, from a recruiting standpoint, Harsin had to have him. He's a good recruiter. He's very well thought of throughout all of the coaching circles in Georgia, which is obviously big for Auburn. Will Friend, obviously the same sort of thing. Derek Mason, I know head coach at Vandy's hard, really hard. So good defensive coach, I think a perfect guy to kind of complement Harsin's attitude and the way he coaches. So, it's a good staff. They just got Tracy Rocker today. Again, you need some SEC ties, but you also need coaches that you trust. And Harsin's, I think, done a pretty good job of figuring out how to sort of balance that. And I think that kind of understanding that going into a spot like Auburn is vitally important, because nobody would be successful at that place if you just sort of brought in all the outsiders.
Hey, Barrett, I do want to ask you about LSU, obviously, since we're on here in Baton Rouge. They've made a hire. Jake Peetz is going to be the new offensive coordinator. DJ Mangas is going to be the passing game coordinator. Obviously, we know a little bit about Mangas because he was here with Joe Brady, so I want to ask you about Peetz. This is a guy that's kind of been back and forth between the NFL and college football. Kind of initial thoughts from you when you saw the hire?
Yeah, it sounds like he's that they're trying to get the groove back.
Right.
I hate to use that stupid phrase, get your groove back, but
It worked for Stella. It can work here.
It did work for Stella. That's true. Yeah. It seems like they're trying to find the next Joe Brady, which is fine. I mean, whatever. But that seems to be the path that they're going down. So I think it's a good idea. Obviously the quarterback situation is a little different now, because you do have 3 experienced guys. We'll see. It is a little bit out of the blue, but like you said, I think it's somebody that they have targeted for a while. Feel like can bring that offense back to a point where it's at least close to what it was in 19.
There, this is an evergreen question. It applies today. It applies 6 weeks ago. It applies a year and a half ago, 3 years ago. Whenever you want to ask it, it always applies. But I'll ask it today. What the hell's going on at Tennessee?
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's pretty much look. If you want to hire a guy who can create a coup and overthrow Jeremy Pruitt, they got a really good one in Kevin Steele.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't think Kevin Steele's the best defensive coach in the world because I think at Auburn, having Marlon Davidson and Derrick Brown really does help, as we saw this year because they took a step back. But as an unnamed assistant, non-coordinator, I don't understand what his purpose there would be, other than to overthrow Jeremy Pruitt. So yeah. I don't know. Here is my conspiracy theory. All right, you want to hear it?
Sure.
All right. If Pete Golding goes to LSU or goes to Texas with Steve Sarkisian, Jeremy Pruitt says, you know what? Nick Saban rehab program's pretty good. He bails for Tuscaloosa, and then there you go. You have a new head coach at Tennessee, and it's Kevin Steele.
Oh man, what Rocky Top might? I don't even know. I don't even know what Rocky Top would do at this point because I've stopped to try to guess what Rocky Top would do after the hot mess at Tennessee has been. Hey Barrett, I do know you have to go. We appreciate your time this afternoon. Great stuff as always, and we'll be talking Braves baseball soon.
Absolutely. Get those World Series shirts printed up, Jacob.
Absolutely. I'm always stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I'm ready to go with the Braves World Series run. Thanks, Barrett.
Me too. All right, see you.
All right, there is Barrett Sallee, CBS Sports Sirius XM Radio. Alabama actually has their NFL early entry press conference at 2 o'clock, so that's why I'm watching.
I've got results of everybody but one.
Okay, well, hey, that's called a radio tease. We'll tease that. We'll have that for you when we come back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, speaking of Richards Honda, of course, you can find them online at richardshonda.com. Something new that they've added to the homepage. When you log on to the site, right there on the homepage, it tells you exactly how many new vehicles they have in stock. Right now, 439 new vehicles in stock. It will pull up exactly what they have available. You fill out what you're looking for, and they are going to have it with so many new vehicles in stock over at Richards Honda. So go to the website. You can also purchase from home. Remember, we've told you that over the last couple of weeks, a 7-step process to get your vehicle of choice delivered straight to your doorstep. But also go see them at I-12 and Millerville, because with so many new in stock, 700 when you throw in the new and pre-owned vehicles, they'll have something that you absolutely love over at Richards Honda. No matter what your lifestyle or your life calls for, they will have it for you over at Richards Honda. Again, richardshonda.com, 13413 Millerville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge. Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
It's the divisional round in the NFL playoffs. Our coverage starts Saturday at 3:35 when the Packers host the Rams, followed by Bills-Ravens at 7:15. Then Sunday, the Chiefs host the Browns at 2:05, followed by the Saints-Buccaneers at 5:40. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only, subject to credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, previewing Saints Bucs with Mike Detillier, and we'll recap LSU, Arkansas, and hoops. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda. Good conversation we had with Barrett Sallee. You can catch that on demand, brought to you by Richards Honda. If you did miss it, he had to go a little bit early, though. Didn't have his full 15 minutes because he had to get to the Alabama press conference where we found out who exactly Hunt Palmer is turning pro.
Yeah, Fadarian Mathis, from one of the 647 Alabama players from Louisiana, he is coming back to Tuscaloosa. Deontay Brown, All-American offensive lineman, headed to the NFL. Patrick Surtain Jr., All-American cornerback, headed to the NFL. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, headed to the NFL. Christian Barmore, defensive lineman, headed to the NFL. Mac Jones, quarterback, headed to the NFL. So the Bryce Young era begins right now.
I know in a normal situation, we would say, oh, that's what we expected. You just never know. I mean, Najee Harris wasn't a guy I thought would come back. Leatherwood certainly wasn't a guy. Devontae Smith wasn't a guy that I thought would come back a year ago.
Go back even more. Tim Williams hung around. C.J. Mosley hung around.
Is Williams still in the what was his NFL career like?
No, he's out.
I don't even remember his.
Ravens to Packers, no real stats.
Okay. It's scary that I think you know more about Alabama football players than anybody else I know.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
I used to obsess. Here's the deal: I used to obsess over Alabama games and watch them and try so hard to pull against them. And guess what happened? They won every freaking game. So I quit watching. I don't watch Alabama play anymore. I didn't watch a play of the national championship game. I like Tuscaloosa. Good town, good beers.
Well, everybody's got good Cold Cruise Lights. But
Don't want to watch Alabama play football. It brings me no joy. So I'm not going to do it. So I don't watch anymore.
So I do think it's newsworthy, though, kind of going back. By the way, Tim Williams was on a practice squad this year. Ravens for 3 years, 2.5 years, Packers for half a year, and he was on a practice squad this year. But he plays outside linebacker. You know which outside linebacker they actually promoted instead of him?
Who, the Packers?
No, the Seahawks, where he was on the practice squad.
No, I don't.
Stephon Sullivan, the former receiver from LSU, actually got
I missed that
an opportunity to play outside linebacker and got sacked, by the way, or
Nice.
tackle for loss, one of the two. So, give you a little update about Tim Williams, of course, from Baton Rouge, went to the lab school there. So, which one of those losses you think will be the biggest impact for them moving forward?
Well, I mean, you didn't get an announcement there because everybody has the ability to come back. So you didn't get an announcement from like Najee or Devontae Smith or those guys, but know what the answer there is. It's just they got to overhaul the playmakers, and they've got them. Robinson is a playmaker, and Mechie was good this year, and they'll come up with guys who can play. But you're going to lose 3 or 4 offensive linemen. You lose your quarterback, your running back, and your top 2 receivers. It's not going to look quite like it did last year. So the defense is coming back almost intact. I mean, I mentioned 3 guys there, and you'll mention Dylan Moses as well, who won't be back, but a lot of the defensive guys will be back. The deal is, though,
But Dylan wasn't their best linebacker this year.
No. Here's the deal. The Alabama defense is no longer the Alabama defense that we remember from the early 2010s. If you spread the field and you run the hurry up, you'll score in Alabama. Florida scored on them. Ole Miss scored them. LSU scored, 17 points in the first half this year?
Correct.
I mean, you can score some points. The issue was this year, they were going to score 60 if they needed to.
Right.
They only needed to once. Ole Miss is the only team that pushed them to that, and they had to score 60 in that game. But their defense is no longer what it once was because you can't in this era of college football when you spread it out. It just took LSU forever to figure that out. So the defense will be among the best in college football next year because they're so talented and they got a good coach. But you'll still, if you have a good scheme and good players, you'll score on them. It's just a matter of slowing them down. And I have no reason to think that they won't be a great offense next year, but I don't think it'll be this good.
So there's a lot of movement going across the SEC. Obviously, not just at Alabama, losing the players and winning the championship and losing the coaches that they've lost. Obviously, they know they've got a blueprint. They know how to handle it. They've done it really for the past, it seems like 6-7 seasons they've had to replace everyone. You've got a lot of movement, though, in places you haven't had movement in a while. Auburn, we mentioned South Carolina. They have poached, I think it's now 4 coaches from South Carolina. You have Dan Mullen interviewing for NFL jobs. Not to say he's leaving Florida, but he's at least looking. You've got, obviously, movement here at LSU when you start talking about the coordinators, not only offense and defense, passing game coordinator as well. You got to hire a defensive line coach still, so you're going to have movement there. Mississippi State, Arnett, he's a defense coordinator that's interviewed for a couple of places. So there's movement all over the place. And we didn't even mention Vanderbilt's got a new coach, and South Carolina's got a new head coach, and Beamer coming in there. This is a year, Hunt, that we didn't think there would be a lot of movement in the offseason, and there's just as much or maybe even more than a normal offseason without having a pandemic.
And so the fact of the matter is that you're always going to have upheaval and movement, as you're calling it, in off season of football. And my take from all the things you just rolled out is I believe that Nick Saban will hire great coaches and they'll be great next year. And South Carolina will have mediocre coaches and they won't be very good. And Vanderbilt will have bad coaches and they'll stink, because that's the way that things generally work in the league. And I think that LSU has done a good job on the offensive side, and we'll see how things go on the defensive side. I don't subscribe to the narrative that some national people like Pat Forty are throwing out that he called it alarming that LSU has, quote unquote, swung and missed on 2 defensive coordinator candidates. Fair to say they interviewed Marcus Freeman, and I think would have liked to have him as the defensive coordinator. So you want to call that a swing and miss? That's fine. It's far better to not hire a great coach than it is to hire a bad coach. Not hiring a great coach is not going to get you in huge trouble as long as you go get another good coach.
Right.
But if you hire a bad one, that's what's alarming. So I don't subscribe to what 40 says at all, that his job is to sensationalize a bit on Twitter and get people to click on his stuff. So that's just how it goes. But I don't think LSU's in trouble at all on the defensive side of the ball. Now, he's made some missteps.
And the question that we've been getting is who's available? If you're LSU, everybody's available. They truly are, because you're willing to spend. You've shown you're willing to spend. You just paid $2 million for Bo Pelini. I would imagine you'll spend at least that. Not to say you have to, but at least that. Okay, so you're willing to spend. That makes almost everybody on the table, Hunt. If there's someone that you like, that you've noticed from afar, that you want to go talk to, you've got the LSU on your chest to be able to get in that door, to be able to have that interview, to be able to at least have the conversation. And so where do you go? We don't know. Coach O mentioned that he's potentially got the name in mind, and it could something could happen here in the near future. Yesterday, okay, what does that mean? NFL? Does that mean you're waiting for somebody? Potentially, but just because you didn't hire two guys, and we don't know how the Arnett interview went. Like the Freeman was a little bit more transparent because reports he was coming, right, and then changed his mind in the 11th hour there. So you've only interviewed two, and everybody should be, because you're LSU. If you don't have that mentality, it's the wrong mentality. Everyone should be available to you to at least have that conversation with.
And I believe that Ed Ogeron is self-aware. He understands the situation and knows how important this is. I don't think Les Miles ever took to how important some of the decisions he needed to make were. I think he already thought he had it figured out, and he knew, and that we saw the result. I think O's a little bit more self-aware that things have to change and that he's in charge of making that happen.
All right, before we go to break, inside the Bayou Ford chat, something we talked about a little bit with JV from Nelson. Do y'all think Bill O'Brien would be a strange fit at Alabama? I know he's a good coach. He's done it at the college level. The power structure there intrigues me because he has been the head coach and GM at the NFL level. That's as high as Nick Saban got as well. So you're talking about a different level of power that he's had, even than Sark coming from USC, Lane coming from USC and Tennessee, Charlie Strong coming from Texas. He has been at the top of the mountain as an NFL head coach and GM. How does that work out the first time Nick loses his mind and yells and screams? And you know what? And that's a different aspect that Bill O'Brien's probably not dealt with in a long time.
Yeah, I think it would work. I thought Penn State football was going to be dead for 15 years after what happened up there. And he took that job and had a competitive football team with scholarship limitations and the black cloud hanging around. That's tough to recruit to. And he put a pretty good product on the field. James Franklin has maybe taken it one notch higher. But, with Hackenberg and those guys, I thought he did a pretty good job. And then obviously.
Oh, what a name drop. Christian Hackenberg?
Yeah, well, Barrett said it in the last segment, so I can't take all the credit for it. But
see, I missed that.
Yeah, and then, I thought they scored some points and threw for some yards in the NFL with Deshaun Watson. I think he would be just fine at Alabama. I brought up the issue with the power struggle, but if you don't know you're signing up for that, then you just got your head in the mud. I mean, it's just you got to be able to either understand it or just really not give a damn like Kiffin. He would just go nuts on Kiffin on the sideline, and Lane would just kind of roll his eyes.
Like, okay.
I'm not listening.
All right, Nick.
You're
Cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
You're a crazy person. We're gonna win this game by 30, and I'm gonna go get a beer. How about that?
Or maybe something stronger. I don't know Lane's choice. Maybe. Probably. Okay. We'll take a break. We still got much more to come here on Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Tonda.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
We are brought to you by Garcia Roofing, your Baton Rouge roofing experts. Roofing, siding, gutters, they do it all. They've been doing it all since 1992 in all of Baton Rouge, in the entire area, Prairieville, Gonzales, Denham Springs, Livingston, St. Francisville. They can do anything that you need. What do I mean by that? Nothing's going to be too big. You know that. Commercial roofing, if you need a complete new roof on your home, roof replacement, of course they can handle that. But don't forget about the small things like roof cleaning and roof repair. No matter what you've got going on, they can handle it. And it is a free service to you to get it inspected to find out exactly what you do need. Go to GarciaDidMyRoof.com. On the top right of the homepage, free roof inspection, click on that. I'm telling you, it saved me thousands by doing it. They came out. I had ventilation issues. No one caught it, but Garcia is the one who caught it, saved me thousands of dollars. Again, GarciaDidMyRoof.com. Call him at 225-756-3100.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Join us for a Thursday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. LSU basketball gets a win last night, and we continue to break down Saints Bucs in the Superdome on Sunday. Come out and see us or tune in at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard's Honda here on a Thursday afternoon with Hunt Palmer. Hunt, I don't really enjoy how giddy you are about primetime golf. Like you mentioned it right before we came back.
2 weeks a year. Come on.
Why is it in primetime?
Because it's in Hawaii.
Oh, so it's just literally because of the time zone it's
exactly.
in. I thought maybe they...
No, they're not playing under the lights or anything.
That's what I thought. I was like, we had a par 3 under the lights?
No.
I mean, we've all had a little par 3 under the lights.
Just out there,
you know?
Yeah, just out there in Hawaii. Sony Open starts tonight. Wildlife Country Club. I got Webb Simpson to win it in my fantasy golf league.
Wait, you play fantasy golf for the Sony Open?
The whole year.
I thought it was just for majors.
No, the whole year. You have the whole field every week, and you cannot pick a guy twice. You can pick a guy once per year, and you get into your pot however much money he wins that week. And whoever has the most money at the end wins. There's like $60,000 up for grabs.
Wait, In your fantasy golf?
Yeah.
What's first place get?
$60,000.
Like, how many people are in this?
A
I
lot.
thought maybe you spread 60,000 up.
No,
like
a lot. It's it's $500 to enter.
You paid $500
We had
to
a little.
be,
We had some team.
to get into some
we have a
fantasy
team.
golf.
We have a team.
You realize, like, here in like a month when you get married, that's probably going to be like axed.
Well, there's a team, and if I win, then it's good, right?
Yeah.
That's what the gambler husband says.
Where do you sit in the standings right now?
Well, we've been 1 week.
Okay. Well, I didn't ask you how long it's been. I said, where do you sit in
in
the
1 week.
standings?
I had Patrick Reed last week, and he sucked.
Okay, so
he got like
not
21st.
great. Okay.
So yeah, but I got Webb Simpson this week. He's going low.
All right, we've got a question inside the Bayou 4 chat, and actually a couple kind of the same questions. So we'll just kind of throw it this way. If you're Urban Meyer and you have the opportunity to get Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence, which way are you going? And it kind of goes back to our conversation we had about what's the best job. You've got some spots that are intriguing because you have young, talented quarterbacks in place. We threw, obviously, Justin Herbert in there from the Chargers. He's not available. Deshaun Watson is available. If you were the Jaguars, would you potentially make a move for Deshaun Watson, knowing how young he is and knowing he's proven already?
So
or do
they're
you buy the Trevor Lawrence hype?
Well, there's two parts to that. One, if you ask me what quarterback I'd rather have on my team for the next 5 years, it's Deshaun Watson. It's not even close. I'm a little bit lower on Trevor Lawrence than some. But there is something to drafting a cheap quarterback and spending your money elsewhere. And Deshaun's getting paid. So
already, yeah.
Right. You've got to deal with that. I mean, when you look at some of the teams over the last 5 or 6 years that have done it with cheap quarterbacks and built around them, Russell Wilson in the early Seahawks days. I mean, even the Jaguars, when they had Bortles and they had surrounded him with all those good, the defense was unbelievable in that team before they all left.
Yeah.
But, there's something to building around a cheap young quarterback that's appealing.
Yeah.
But also there's something really appealing about having a good quarterback, even if he's expensive.
Yeah, and like Deshaun Watson has no trade, so why in the world would he want to go to Jacksonville? I think it's going to take some time to get them back to where they were, which is the AFC Championship game not that long ago in Pittsburgh, or they beat Pittsburgh to get to that point, right? And it fell apart. It fell apart after that. And
I mean, the Rams are a good example of what I'm talking about there too, as well, with Goff, and they had that really good roster around him, and then all of a sudden you gotta pay Goff.
But let's call it like it is. The Jaguars are so much farther away than just a quarterback away.
Yeah.
That they need every asset that they have. They need the draft choices that they have, which is as good as anyone. They've got a big chest of draft picks, and they need them all. So go ahead, take your quarterback, allow him to grow with your new head coach, allow him to grow with the new draft choices. You've got James Robinson at running back, who was a stud as a rookie. One of the bigger surprises, 1,400 total yards this year. You have DJ Chark, who's made a Pro Bowl, in place. So it's a nice starting point. You're going to be a very young football team. It's going to take it on the chin. You're in a pretty good division as well.
When was the last time Urban lost a lot of games? His last year at Florida, would they lose 4?
I mean, if you look at his resume, it's pretty impressive. Everywhere he's been, it's been pretty consistent. I mean, I'm talking, you even go back to the Bowling Green days. And
He went undefeated. That's pretty good.
At Utah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because listen to this. Bowling Green, 8-3, 9-3. Okay. Utah, 10-2, 12-0. Florida, 9-3, 13-1, 9-4, 13-1, 13-1, 8-5.
8-5. Okay, that was
Ohio State.
That was the one that
12-0, 12-2, 14-1, 12-1, 11-2, 12-2, 10-1. So he has a record of 187-32.
Yeah.
Even the greats.
How's 2-14 gonna feel?
Even the greats, when they go somewhere new, they have a struggle year, a rebuilding year, maybe a 6-5 year. This dude went to Bowling Green and was good. He went to Utah, was better. Went to Florida, better. Went to Ohio State, better. This guy can coach. He's got some baggage. There ain't no doubt about it. This guy can coach. He's going to take it on the chin this first year probably, just because the roster's horrendous. There's a reason they beat the Jets for the #1 pick. But I don't hate the move from Jacksonville if the baggage stays farther away. The closer it gets, I'd get nervous, but the guy can coach. There's no denying that.
It's rare when an NFL team goes outside the box. I mean, it's usually a retread, or they go right to who's winning right now. Well, we'll go get the next one of him. And this is a little outside the box. I mean, certainly Steve Spurrier's been hired and Nick Saban's been hired, and they've gone. Pete Carroll's been hired. They've gone after the stud.
Even Pete, though, Pete before had an NFL career before he went to college. So when you start talking about college guys and how they've worked, Barry Switzer comes to mind, but he took over a loaded team.
Jimmy
Johnson. There's not many times that Bill O'Brien was one of those guys. There's not a lot of. Chip Kelly did okay in Philly, but it was awful in San Francisco. I do feel like the games are getting closer than they've ever been.
That's a good point.
Especially when you look at the offense side of the football, it's getting closer. The rules are getting closer. The dynamics are getting closer. So maybe it does work. It's an uphill battle, but I'll give Urban Meyer a shot. It's a jolt for a franchise that needs a jolt. This is a team that basically played in London half the time. They were playing 2 games a year, and they had no fans in Jacksonville. Their owner makes no bones about where he wants to be.
Well, you can speak to this far better than I can, but I can bring the point up for you to elaborate on. There's something about being a college coach where you are the undisputed big dog on the field. Everyone in eyesight has to bow at your presence at all times and go into coaching an NFL roster.
Yeah.
Where, one, you got a boss that's right above you who's picking your players and the owner who's cutting the checks. And 2, the players swing a bigger stick.
For the most part. Yeah. I tell the story all the time when Jason Taylor puts his arm around Nick Saban's like, coach, it's not how we're going to do things. I got that story from Randy McMichael, who said Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor were like, coach, no, that's not how it's going to happen. It's a completely different game. And I don't think Urban will struggle with that part. I honestly don't. I don't think his demeanor, we don't see him blow up on the sidelines a ton. He's had some sideline antics, but it hasn't been blowing up. It's been other stuff. So I think that part of it he'll actually be okay at.
We'll see. See how long he wants to stick it out. It's just been a weird run for him at Florida Ohio State. Just weird.
All right, we'll take our last break of the show. When we come back, we'll finish it up like we do every single day with Ask Us, presented by Coors Light every single day as well. I should have put some in the fridge for you, Hunt. Tomorrow? Can I offer you a cold Coors Light tomorrow?
You can.
I'll do okay? Okay, we'll do
I know how that
tomorrow.
How that response is going to go, too.
Ask Us will still be brought to you by Coors Light every single day. We'll do that when we come back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com, committed to changing lives. So committed that they created the Go Local initiative. This is supporting our local businesses, the one that makes our communities feel like we're at home. GMFS is giving away $10,000 in Visa gift cards to those who visit participating Go Local businesses and enter their drawings. So learn more about the official rules at GMFSmortgage.com/Go Local. You know how we spell go around here, G-E-A-U-X, G-E-A-U-X, local, GMFSmortgage.com. If 2021 is the year that you're moving into a new home, that you're refinancing your current home, that you're adding on with a construction loan to your current home, start your financial journey at GMFSmortgage.com. Let them do for you what they did for me and they've done for thousands of others. When they talk about changing lives, they're talking about changing your monthly budget for the better. So start that financial journey today at GMFSmortgage.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge. Innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
From Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $335 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Musso. Join us for Fridays Off the Bench. Hunt Palmer stops by in his weekly spot to talk LSU football and LSU basketball. We'll have the D-Generation Dome, a brand new OTB tier list, and more. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. Before we get to Ask Us, Hunt Palmer is here thanks to Hungry Howie's.
That is correct. Got some new stuff to tell you about here at Hungry Howie's, something I haven't pubbed on the show. Dessert pizza. Get an apple dessert pizza, just $5. Sweet, delicious. Try that during Hungry Howie's order. And I want to remind you, any large pizza can be made a stuffed crust pizza for just $2 more. So that means you can have your pizza, their crust, stuffed and flavored. That's going to be the best crust deal in town. Hungry Howie's, Nicholson, just south of LSU's campus. Always get it at hungryhowies.com or download the Hungry Howie's app, like I told you, twice a week. Sign up for the Howie Rewards program. You can get free pizza. That's right there on the app. It's Hungry Howie's bringing you Hangin' with Hester, Hanny, Hunt, whoever, whenever.
Anybody with an H. Hungry Howie's. All right, first question's from Steven. Why would you bring Hoot anything when he can't bring you a pizza?
I could bring you pizza.
He just doesn't. He
I choose
chooses not to. I mean, I've got my Cold Coors Light right here. Got my Blue Moon Light Sky right here. Vizzy right there. For the taking. Anytime you want it. What have you brought me? Nothing. Except bad takes about Tuscaloosa.
Good town.
That's it. All right. Why does Hunt hate Mississippi State and Starkville so much?
I don't hate Mississippi State that much. I hated John Cohen as their baseball coach and hated their baseball program that way, and certainly wasn't fond of him when Canizero was there and they were here in a super regional. But I just don't find anything to do in Starkville. I think a Starkville football weekend kind of stinks. I think a Starkville baseball weekend where you can stay in a hotel right by campus because it's not too crowded and they've got a great environment.
They've actually
and a good
got
stadium.
another hotel. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. They actually have one in Starkville now where football teams can stay. That's new. Used to, you had to stay somewhere else.
Yeah,
like
like
an hour
Columbus.
away. Yeah.
So it's just a football weekend in Starkville is too crowded and there's not enough to do. And the stadium's kind of dumpy. I don't like it.
All right. That's his take on Starkville. I appreciate Stark Vegas. I think it's an okay spot. Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee? We'll go round table here. Cade and Paul, y'all are involved in this. Hunt, you go first.
I don't really know who Bruce Lee is.
Such a bad take. Cade.
It's not a take.
I'm going to have to go Bruce Lee. Did you see the 30 for 30 on Bruce Lee?
I did see it. It was really good. Now, it's hard to go against Bruce Lee, but, I mean, Chuck Norris and the Chuck Norris jokes alone. I mean, Flynn and I did a full 2-hour show.
If we're talking about the entity, that is tough.
It's just Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Flynn and I did an entire 2-hour show when Joe Burrow committed to LSU about Joe Burrow and Chuck Norris, and it was like one of my favorite shows that we've ever done. So
wow, well, it turned into true.
I'm going to go Chuck Norris. Paul?
I'm going to go Bruce Lee.
What's he in?
Return of the Dragon?
Return of the Dragon?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of movies, but I do know as far as his expertise.
Before our time. I mean, he's in the 60s.
Well, how am I supposed
Martial arts.
Have you not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where they have the
that movie was awful.
Oh my, that's another bad take. The Bruce Lee was in that.
Oh, well, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So that part of his work was not
That
good.
was one of the worst movies you've ever
Yes.
seen.
I don't know what the hell was going on.
Ask Hunt, who do you think starts in the middle infield for LSU this year? Is Beloso going to move to left field or DH?
They are planning to move Beloso to left field at this point because they think Trey Morgan's that good defensively at first base, and he's going to hit in the 3-hole, so they like that as well. As far as up the middle goes, it would be a surprise if Cade Doty was not the second baseman. And then at shortstop, Collier Cranford's basically kind of the incumbent at that spot because he kind of won it. But he did it based on his defense, not necessarily his bat. Zach Arnold hit the ball a lot in the fall, and he's got the highest upside. I'm pulling for him to win that job because I think that would make that gives LSU the highest ceiling. But Cranford did a nice job. It's just he's a little bit limited. He's just a speed defense guy with a singles bat.
Ask Hunt, Jarrett Lee or Bruce Lee?
Jarrett Lee. I know who it is.
Okay. Ask Hunt, does he own a piece of Hungry Howie's?
I don't. I just appreciate their loyalty to the podcast and the show and enjoy their pizza.
If you did and you still didn't bring us stuff, that'd be
mean.
Even worse. Ask us, biggest home game in basketball, Bama, Tennessee, or Texas Tech?
Really good question. Wow. Let's go. God, that's a great question. I'm trying to I could just spout anything off. I'm trying to come up with the actual answer that I think. I believe the biggest of those three in the end is going to be Tennessee. I believe Tennessee is going to finish with a better record in the league than Alabama, but I think Alabama's excellent, and I think they're a tournament, a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 type potential team. Absolutely.
Ask us, best baseball stadium in the SEC, taking the box out of it.
Well, the box isn't it, so that doesn't even apply.
I'm just reading the question.
Yeah, I haven't. I'll be honest, I haven't been to the new Duty Noble yet. I would imagine that's probably it.
It's good.
I mean, that's probably it's got to be it based on what they've put in there. I think that South Carolina's
Florida's got
pretty
new
good.
digs.
Florida is building a new one. I wanted to go see it while we were there for football, but I didn't have the time to run by.
You were busy in Gainesville?
I was playing golf.
Okay, I'm about to say I don't know what you did for that long in Gainesville.
So yeah, and look, I love Swayze. I love Ole Miss's field. But I think Bucs is pushing middle of the pack these days.
Ask Hunt, should the Saints go after Dak Prescott?
Sure. I think Dak Prescott and Sean Payton would put a great offense on the field.
Ask us, how would you like to have big voice guy's job?
Well, I wouldn't do it very well.
Welcome back in to Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
Hanging with Hester and
I can't do it either. It kind of
nope. I would be bad at that.
Who has the worst baseball attendance, or who has the worst baseball attendance to national championship ratio?
Florida.
Okay.
What they've got 2, and they.
Florida's it's a weird spot. Even like in football, sometimes you just show up and it's.
I've seen that place
packed.
really good and really bad. I've been in 06 and 08, phenomenal. 2012, just dead.
2014 was dead.
I wasn't there for that.
2014 was really dead. It was surprising. Let's see. Obviously getting a lot of the same question. Where'd it go? Ask Hunt, why did the Cubs suck?
Well, because they're giving away all their players because they don't want to pay them, because the ownership has decided that they'd rather run a business than win baseball games. Yeah. So that's their prerogative. I disagree with it vehemently. I think it's disgusting, but it is what they decide to do, so I can't do anything about it.
Ask us. I don't know if anybody but me can answer this one. WWF or WCW back in the day? That's a great question. Like the Ultimate Warrior and the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal back in WWF days, they were fantastic. Now the NWO, the Wolfpack, the black and red NWO.
I was told not to turn your back on the Wolfpack.
I mean, they used to have like 2 sweet like that. I don't know, that's pretty good.
I never watched wrestling, but I did. My buddy had WCW versus NWO Revenge on N64.
Oh, that was a good one.
It would get rowdy.
That was a good one. I mean, when Goldberg had a streak, okay, yeah, I can talk some old school wrestling. Hadn't watched it in 15, 20 years, but I can go old school. Road Warrior probably that's why James Laurinaitis is so cool. I mean, his dad was a road warrior.
That is pretty cool.
And he was pretty good at football as well. Let's see. Again, favorite pro wrestler of all time. I just kind of answered one of mine. Jake Snake Roberts, whose Funko Pop is like right here on our set. That's Jake the Snake Roberts right there. So that's probably my favorite.
Well, I would go with the Iron Sheik because his Twitter's awesome.
So good. He has a really good Twitter game.
Back in the early days of the Iron Sheik Twitter, me and Moscona would text about it like 3 times a week. It was so good.
All right. Again, trying to go through the same questions.
Yeah.
Ask us, crunchy Cheetos or puffy Cheetos? I'm going
That is
puffy.
so odd. No!
I'm going puffy Cheeto. Yes.
Have you heard the line off Little Giants where the fat kid he had his lunch in his helmet and they go, Cheetos, crunchy, puffy, goes puff. And then the coach goes, wimp.
No. There's a way that you eat a puffy Cheeto. Like, you don't even bite into it. You just kind of put it, it dissolves.
Crunchy all day. This is not a debate. Little Giants, the goat.
All right. Crunchy or puffy Cheetos, Cade and Paul.
I got to go crunchy myself.
Okay.
I'm saying puffy.
I'm going crunchy. You can eat more of them.
Thank you, Paul.
You can eat more of them. How's that?
I don't go flaming hot, though.
No, weak.
Ask us, favorite football uniform combination? Chargers, Powder Blues.
The best uniforms in the NFL are the Bills. The best uniforms in college football. I said this on Twitter, got a ton of backlash. No one's going to like this take. I really like Auburn's all whites. I think it's a sharp look.
Yeah, just gross.
Okay, thank you.
If you're going to go all white, go Penn State.
I like those too. Look just like Loyola. Loyola College Prep.
Except they don't have Snoopy on the
Flyers.
helmet.
They don't. We're the only ones.
Ooh, we're getting some votes for hot Cheetos and jalapeno Cheetos.
No, terrible.
But those are crunchy.
Yes, they are.
They're not the puffs. Sorry, am I saying that wrong?
It's on the bag. It says puffs.
Do you think? Okay, I brought a vegetable shake in here, and that's what I eat most days. You think I'm eating Cheeto puffs right now?
No,
Puffies or whatever they're called. Okay, so sorry, I don't know the lingo. Ask Jake, what is your favorite running play? I could say toss dive and just be a troll here, but it wasn't necessarily. It was 44 and 45 zone extra. So it's a zone run. Obviously, it's in the play call. What makes a zone extra different, chill out, Cade, was the fullback ran it like he had the ball, so he was the extra part of it. So I loved a zone extra that the fullback read it right, read the 3 technique, cut it backside, sealed off the defensive end, and there would be a gap between the tackle and the fullback. If you hit it full speed, watch out. Hit your head on the goalpost.
When I was a quarterback in 6th grade, 18 option. I got to go option to the right
I bet
side.
you were a big option on the 18
Scored
option.
a TD, don't worry about it.
Yeah, right. We'll see you tomorrow.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support